I hit up Dakota the other day. I asked him how Native people feel about white people crying about illegal immigration.
And his
And
answer?
shut the fuck up. Then we started talking about just games and stuff. And I think he was playing whatever you and Ryan are playing, the same game.
Yeah, we played with him.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah.
Helldivers?
Yeah.
Hell yeah. We're democracy.
Man in democracy.
This one's from Maven Creek. Dedicate the session to Maven Creek. I've been trying to keep up with it, just because it's very interesting to me.
Mm-hmm.
Did they hit Super Earth? Did the automatons?
Not yet. Like so far, the gameplay's been in the like outer areas of the world, but it sure seems like they're setting it up for like kind of like a threat to potentially Super Earth itself building up.
I clicked on Super Earth the other day just because I hadn't done it before, and there's Super Earth and there's Mars on there too, so we might have like a
fight on Mars to
I'm there, so I don't have to fight it once.
There are times when like games like Helldivers come out, and I'm just like, oh, this was out when I was in high school. I would have lost my mind.
Yeah, Ryan and I have been playing it, and just quoting Circuit Troopers to each other.
You're trying to be a hero.
You're trying to get some bouncer.
Hey Jared, thanks for coming over with Melissa and the fam yesterday to hang out with Lily. She had a really, really great time.
Good. Well, thanks for having us. We like being included.
It was a lot more people than we were expecting. We didn't have a chance to set up the introvert section of the house, unfortunately.
It's like I was gonna say, it's like I need my soft wall, textured wall. No, just having Julian around allows me to just ignore everybody else. I guess
He did great. I was really impressed. He was not like super clingy, was kind of hanging out.
Yeah.
Some of the other kids, and that was awesome.
Yeah. He's developing, and it's kind of it's like, oh, I can
come out of my shell.
Yeah, I can do things on my own now.
That's great.
I don't think Nora will have that same personality.
Won't have that same like reservation to overcome.
I don't think so. It's hard to say because she's only 9 months old.
But so far.
But so far.
She'll have him to show her how it's done.
Yeah. See, when someone gets close to you, run over to mom or dad and say, up.
All problems.
Okay.
A lot of negative ones.
Yeah.
How do you know you rolled Paladin? How many negative ones do you have on all your skills? You have like 3 dump stats. I don't know.
3 dump stats?
Yep.
Ooh.
Beautiful.
That's what happened with Thud last time.
Tried to go a little even across the board.
I rolled the stat block last time, and it was really good, and I felt just overcome with so much guilt. Like, this is the reason Gerp died, because you rolled well, and so I did 0.5 for this one.
He's gonna be a god.
Speaking of which, I would like to collect a little bit of information from each of your characters, so I have it on hand. There may be some behind the scenes rolling as you guys are, going up against the old WL, and might just have some background, effectively layer effects from the Whispered Litany that you have to deal with. So, actually, if you guys could just pass around a paper and then just write all this down, and I can just transfer, it might be easier than getting all this verbally. I have a paper, I think, here.
Right now, your biggest weakness.
Yeah, so the first of you just write down the categories, and each of you copy it. So I'll want
Make sure to point out where your armor is weakest.
max HP, AC. Right.
Just want
get
columns.
AC. Whatever works. Columns make sense to me.
AC.
Passive perception, and then each of your saves.
Each of those. Okay. That's sort of this.
And we have a new addition to the group. Josh, why don't you describe for us Megan?
Yeah. Yes, absolutely. Magon Rocksteady is 275 pounds of twisted steel and sex appeal. He's got a body that men fear and women crave. Jesus Christ. He is a Oath of Vengeance paladin who's dedicated his life to his deity Ogma. Really, there are two great loves in Magan's life. One is bashing his foes over the head, his two-handed maul, and the second is, believe it or not, music. He's responsible. In his free time, he's a smith. He likes to craft weapons and hammers in particular, and use that to kind of pursue a musical career that met some success. He invented a genre of music called ironcore, which just involves a bunch of bashing metal on metal with hammers as a kind of a driving beat, and it caught on in the cities of Ketten and Valkreth, and so Magan found a kind of a group of peers. They formed a band, and he kind of tours the area. Dedicates good shows to his god Ogma. And that's sort of Magan in a nutshell.
Fantastic. I think that Megan probably helped maintain a lot of like the equipment for the band and stuff as well, with like smith skills and whatnot. And probably I think in addition to currently being having done some assessment of potential recruits in Ur-Durra, also is familiar with nibbles, having like gone to him at times for assistance with the magical parts of like tinkering and like repairing some equipment, or like inventing new like things that bang together for avant-garde ironcore music. So when you were in Ur-Durra and you heard from one of the many children that roam the city like in urchin style, even though many of them have like perfectly safe and healthy homes, they just like run around the city doing like odd jobs for people, like just urchin style stuff. You hear that with the goings on right now, you heard that some people have been named as enemies of Ur-Durra, enemies of the people, and among them the name of Nibbles. Rather, Nibbles, Splattergat, Fenwick, Din, Riddle, Gnome, Chomsky. And that probably caused a flicker of memory kind of reviving, as you had met as acquaintance and interact with them in the past. And yeah, why don't you give me a history check as well?
3.
Yeah, you haven't heard much of Nibbles' exploits since he left Ur-Durra those years ago. But I think we can accelerate that process, and you nab one of the many urchins and find through their network that one of them had been reached out to by Petunia, and also with Aloysius. And through that connection, knew that Nibbles was back in town, and not only that, you were able to be directed to the hideout through the urchin network. So I think that while the rest of you are gearing up with these secret supplies and great innovations stolen by the old Bombus and co, and deciding, figuring out, getting some introductions done, and figuring out what you're going to do, as Bibbles prepares the recording device to switch into projector mode and preparing to display the recorded information. You hear some kind of knock at the door as our new hero arrives, Megan. So I think you arrive at the described place by the urchins, and you find what looks to be a small access, utility access to some pipe works and stuff. You sneak your way in there, keeping a close watch, because you've noticed that there are the city is tense right now. Do you think your character heard the performance of Carlo Blackthorn?
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. In fact, that's a large part of why Magan was visiting. He was no stranger to Curla at all.
Yeah. Oh, good job.
I hate that woman. I hate her with passion.
You hate Curla?
Yeah.
That's a shame.
Well, we had a bit of a battle of the bands.
Wasn't really a battle so much as it was a slaughter.
Yeah.
I think that when you
re-education of the bands.
Yeah, you hear the announcements in the city turning into very quickly, the security getting ratcheted up in the city, and Kurla being clearly aligned with the Imperium and the Council of Innovation, the gnomish leadership of this city that is very much in the pocket of the Imperium. You heard that there was an attack at the Hydroforge itself by some enemies of the city. Named all of your former group, including one dearly departed. What was his name? Gerp, Wilvin Gerp Wetheldackle. Names them as having fallen in the heinous attack on the city, but also identifies Nibbles as a maligned element, also having returned to the city. And I think that at that moment you realize the significance of the danger that you are in working alone right now. And as any good band member does, looks for a group in the time of danger. So you go seeking out Nibbles. And the rest of you see the chiseled figure of Megan enter the space. And you're reminded of it's like a much more like, in some ways, a much more like authentic version of Balabor Nickelplenty, who's like trying to exude this like sex appeal as the consort of the Whispered Litany. I mean, the 5-ton voice. But Megan just wears it a lot more naturally.
Things can't be learned.
Mm-hmm.
Mark, the things that you wanted was HP, AC, saves, and passive perception. Is there anything else?
I think that's it.
I just texted it to you.
Wonderful. Okay.
If you want what I had for meatloaf, or are you okay?
It should be fine.
I have 2 logistics questions while we're sorting that out. I found a post-it on my old notes that said that Nita's haul from our last the last adventure she was a part of included a potion of greater healing, a 6th level spell scroll, and a ring of the ram.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's fun.
that was a while ago. I'm wondering if she still has any of that.
I think you can have those things if you did not take any additional magic items, or you choose not to take any additional magic items.
I got that tattoo and I like that for flavor better, so I'm okay forsaking these things, I think.
Okay.
She's used up the had the ring taken and used
I'll say I mean the ring of the ram's pretty fun. I'll say you still have that.
I think I might have missed this. Do we get to choose a magic item?
Yeah. I was giving everybody at the very least like a magic weapon, effectively, or a magic armor. But if you have, if you're a class, you're a paladin, so like if you want to elect something other than those, there'll be limited options. But if there's something that you have an idea of, you're welcome to.
I'm just gonna grab
I kind of when I found that I also saw that Nita's original my rolled stats and like, oh, this is before I understood like balance stats, and my roll was actually pretty good. So she's a little overpowered. But has
You can do everything then.
Yeah, how do
the crap AC, so like, I guess that maybe that will balance it a little.
Yeah, what are your stats?
I have +0, +1, +3, +4, +5, +1. So nothing in the negative. There's 3 that are 1 or less, but a 3, 4, and 5 also. So that's pretty robust. Yeah, because I rolled like a 13, a 10, a 13, a 12, a 14, and a 13. Fairly solid.
A lot of good charisma saves. All right. Megan.
I don't know why my wisdom and charisma save, which are high. It must be this. I get.
Yes, paladin. Yeah, you get charisma for sure.
And it something happens at one of the earlier levels where you add your charisma modifier to
To all your saves.
Yeah.
Your aura.
I don't know why.
No one cares that page.
I care.
I don't remember why.
No, you don't.
Okay,
Do you
so
need this? But
Must be true.
theoretically, it's true.
rolls down. But yeah, you guys, if there's any introductions you want to make, as Megan, Megan keeps wanting to devolve into Megan. Megan arrives as you guys are in this tense moment of realizing the entire city is against you and feeling very vulnerable as just a small group against Ur-Durra.
Nito give you a nod. You see a kind of middle-aged gnome wearing leather armor and cleric's robes with a amulet that you can see Lathander's symbol on. She gives you a nod and she sees the urchin scurry away as you enter. She's here to help.
Is this the group that's gonna fuck up the Imperium, or?
We can only hope.
Wonderful.
And she just sticks out a hand and says, Nita, hopefully support this party through healing and whatever mischief we can create.
Wonderful. Megan, as I'm looking for an old friend here. This is one of his hidey holes. His nibbles around.
Nibbles, comes back around the corner with Bombus.
Did you all
And
not lock the doors? Why are more people here?
and you recognize an old acquaintance, someone that you did some work for, or rather in Gnomish Society, solved some interesting challenges for, and developed some new instrumentation and tools, and even repair devices and stuff, and all sorts of enchanting and artificer work, or not artificer, but tinkerer work.
Megan?
Rebels.
Did the amps break? We were making pretty good sounds last time I heard. What?
Yeah, well, band's on a bit of a hiatus at the moment. I see you've stirred up some fun around here.
Well, that is what I do. That's the fun of everything. Actually, I didn't really start this one. Tell you the truth.
You did. This has your fingerprint all over it. What do you mean you didn't start this one?
The Imperium is here. They started this. We're just gonna end it.
Oh, it's fair enough.
Free Ur-Durra.
Yeah, any chance to remove the Imperium from the city, I'm all on board. Band's not going to be making it to this one. It's just me, but I think between all of us, we should be able to handle it. I'm sorry. My name's Megan, Rocksteady. I may be familiar with me. I'm in a band called Empire of Anarchy. If you've toured any of the free cities, you probably heard our name mentioned a few times. And an old acquaintance kind of brought me here, and my buddy Nibbles has done some work for the band in the past. I've already met Nita, and who are you?
Name's Grunglebuck. Grunglebuck Flackenscrap. You probably don't know who I am.
No.
But you may have heard his name come up at that concert, the show.
Yeah. His name.
As are several of our younger crowd.
To be honest with you, I was a little preoccupied during that show, so I apologize. But it's good to put a face to a ill-spoken name around these parts.
I'm just here to do what damage I can. I was wrapped up in something I didn't mean to be a part of, but something needs to be done.
Backstories are not really my thing, but you're here for doing damage. I'm all on board. And you, fellow man of the cloth, I see.
I'm cracked back with the holy book. I'm on a crusade against the bads to help the goods.
All right,
have
all
that.
right.
I'm sitting on my Mastiff mount.
It's
I
a
have-
shield slung that would have like this like dual impressive book on it on the danger side of the
Strapped
shield.
to-
Yeah.
And I have the Mastiff bow.
Is the Mastiff a brindle Mastiff? Like, so
I don't know. What's that?
it's a color. Like, is
Yeah.
it stripy and dark, or is it like your classic, like tan color?
He's dark. Yeah, he'd probably be like a hunting dog black.
Okay.
I can't say I'm too familiar with your particular faith, but it looks vibrant and interesting. And you, I'm not familiar with you. What's your name?
I am Aloysius, or you can call me Al. I've heard these troubling things about Nibbles, and I know them not to be true.
Okay, I'm sorry. Can we back up? Did you say owl or owl?
That's Al, as in Aloysius, Killjoy, Friendly, Vaughn.
So owl like hoot hoot or owl like Albert?
Al, as in Al Bundy.
Owl.
You know, the famous football player.
a famous football player. Don't know what that is either, but right on, brother. Appreciate meeting you. Thank you so much.
Yes, I am here to help out my good friend Nibbles. Honestly, as an aging nomosexual, I don't get out very much.
Well, Nibbles, it looks like you've assembled a crack squad here.
Nibbles seems to have all the connections.
He certainly does. Knows how to bring a family together. It's good to meet all of you.
Welcome to the party.
Me too.
Family. Yeah, family. It's important.
Yeah, never turn your back on it.
Never.
Well, my grandpa Finn always said.
That guy lived his life 1/4 of a kilometer at a time.
Yeah.
Did Nibbles meet Johan?
I think there was overlap there because yeah, the ship came back from the Scofia area with Nibble or with Johan, back to Valkyries before you guys went east, like crossing the Cragspire Mountains and stuff and all that. So yes, I think so.
Okay.
So yeah, go ahead.
I thought I saw Johan not too long ago.
Yeah, he's
He left?
well, we're all on hiatus. He's kind of he's brooding over Curla right now. I think he was trying to do some work in the Free Cities area, investigating claims of something or other in some force. I don't know. I don't really keep tabs on him too much, but since Curla's in the area, I figured I'd check it out and then let him know if we're able to find anything. I was surprised to see her show her face so publicly. That was definitely shocking. Once we get this Ur-Durra mess taken care of, I'll be sure to reach out to him and Estevez and the others.
Well, I think he's pretty busy with my other crew. They were heading across the Cragspire last I saw them. So, you know.
Yes.
Hopefully he'll be alive.
Yeah, hopefully he can. They can help pull him out of his little rut.
Can't you call upon your friend gang? Can't they help us in this endeavor?
They're trying to stop the whole entire world from exploding.
They
I
sound
see.
busy.
They're busy. Last I saw, we exploded a robot from space and I forget what else. That they set off some massive thing underground. It was a really confusing time.
Yeah, that would fill you in on some weird things, phenomenon that you've witnessed recently. That a lot of people just like were there's a hubbub for a couple weeks or for like a day or two rather, because time in our D&D game is passing very slowly for a day or two, and then people just kind of like went back to it's like I mean weird things happen sometimes. No one like people just coming up with explanations for it that suit them.
The news cycle keeps getting faster and faster.
Are we? We are like present to the big help king right now, right?
Yeah, pretty much. Like right now, the big help king is in flight to the great
To the
tree.
great tree.
Yeah.
So I think Nita would be aware of the sky. Would she notice that the moon has stopped a little bit?
Is Nita particularly interested in the moons and their workings? You can certainly give me a nature check.
Yeah, she's like, I think she would know a little bit of. I mean, she never met Quilla, but she would know a little bit about. I don't know. Weird shit happens when astronomy doesn't work the way you expect. But she
It's a written in the stars.
she hasn't known. She doesn't know shit about this. I don't think.
Yeah.
Yeah, 8.
Eight.
Can't
Yeah.
find the moon. It's daytime.
I think your attention's been so preoccupied. Like, if you weren't so focused on other things, you might have noticed the arrival of Ratha in the sky, and noticed its odd behavior.
Yeah, just busy.
Mm-hmm. And the lights of Ur-Durra kind of,
Yeah,
kind of
it's
pollute the light of the stars in the sky, so it makes it a little more difficult.
I mean, I have been staying kind of like figuratively underground. So in Ur-Durra, that may mean I haven't been out on the top of the pedals that much.
Yeah.
Crackback's just watching and nodding, like he knows what's going on, but he doesn't know what robots or space are.
It's just like, yeah, it's good. More goods are here.
Yeah.
So I think while this is going on, in just a few, literally just a few moments after Nibbles made the comment about is somebody locking the door, you see the door open and Stanwyck Chinoli slides in with
For the
a
love of
sweat
God!
covering his sheen across his face, looking like obviously panicked and exhausted, having like rushed over here with all available haste after his recent run-in with some bad people.
Does he look like Stanwyck Chinoli as we know him, or?
Oh, that's true. Yeah, Stanwyck, you dropped your illusion. Do you think you would have put it back up before you came in here?
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah. So you guys see, in fact, like
I guess I wasn't there.
maybe you don't even see like all the sweat that is underneath the illusion. So I'll let Stanwyck describe it as you are the master of your appearance.
Oh, I'm definitely a little sweaty, but I'm back to my old beautiful self with my beautiful white flowing hair and my beautiful tattoos, and everything's hunky-dory except for the worried look on my face as I pop in the door. Hey, there are new people.
Give me a quick perception check.
Well, I rolled a 2, and I don't think it's very high from there.
Mhm. Yeah. One of the newcomers, a very attractive male gnome, looks at you with this look. They probably like are coming on to you or something. Like they're just like instantly attracted to you and find you desirable. That's the most likely explanation you think of this weird look.
Oh, sorry. I know I'm very beautiful. Apologize. I'm here to meet my friend Thud. Is Thud here? Or is no? Oh shit, Thud's not here. Of course he wouldn't be. Fuck. Who am I looking for? I lost all my names and nobody has their names up.
You would see Maisie.
Grunglebuck.
Maisie and Gunglebuck are around.
Gunglebuck, Maisie. Oh, shit. You all are in trouble. They're looking for you. Thud's gone. Thud is gone. Concert was a bad idea. Whew. You all, they're looking for us.
Good to see you, Stanley. I mean, Maisie said that. Yeah, turns out we're all wanted now. Maybe, accelerating our timeline down below was, well, I don't know if it was a bad idea, but it definitely had consequences.
That was a great idea. What are you talking about? We made progress and only lost a couple lives. And we made it to 2:00, and the concert was a bad idea. I admit that. Quit when you're ahead. That's what they all say. And then I think.
Oh, we were ahead. We were ahead, were we?
Me personally. You should have seen the first show.
Oh, you were more ahead.
Me,
I
personally.
see.
Yeah. And I'll look over at Magan because I will obviously have recognized him from the band. You're one of those Apocalypse fellas, huh?
Apocalypse. No, that's another group. They tour with us.
No, the
From
Anarchy.
time.
The Anarchy. I've seen your
Yeah.
shows.
Yep. I was stopping by to kind of check your show out. I've heard some rumblings from some gnomes in the area, and understand you usually put on a kick-ass show. Not really my cup of tea. I think it's kind of music for pussies, to be honest, but I admire the craftsmanship. What happened tonight exactly, from your perspective, in your words, being up on the stage? What happened? Did you choke or?
That was good.
Do you need a second or?
And they just break down in the corner. Listen. Can I hide here? I don't.
I think
You missed a very good show earlier, and I lost my friend. I gotta go.
Yeah, tell me. You said that. What happened to that?
That's gone. I got him.
The Imperium got him.
I don't know. Yeah, sure. They got him.
That's
He
not
sacrificed
good.
himself for me. It was very thoughtful.
Maisie's eyes get really big, and she's just about to lose her shit again because she's just like, shit. But everything we did had so many consequences.
Thought you'd already reckoned.
Yeah, I thought I understood the consequences of what we did, and clearly it just keeps getting worse.
Well, they're out there and they're looking for us. I was not followed here.
Insight check. 26.
I wasn't followed here. I watched.
Okay.
Yeah, as far as Stanwyck knows, Stanwyck clearly has maybe a self-importance or a grandeur or an arrogance issue, but seems to be genuine here.
Okay.
The one and only Sandwich Noli has no arrogance issue.
Didn't see anyone following him away.
Sorry, that was as Nita.
Or during the
Who
40
doesn't know
minutes
Stanwyck super
Oh,
well.
gosh.
makeup
She's,
and wig and everything.
Yeah. Yeah. Nita will introduce herself to Stanwyck. Nita Buffin. You see a gnome with cleric robes and a medallion that looks like the symbol of Lathander. And yeah. She greets you. She's sort of like a, I don't know, medium-aged gnome with white hair and a big ass tattoo on her neck that is just starting to peek out above the shawl of her shirt.
It's wonderful to meet you, Nita. That tattoo is very interesting.
She'll pulls the shawl back and just like kind of like wears it more proudly while she's among friends. And it's some delightful protection, I will say.
What is it, if you don't mind me asking?
The symbol of Lathander. And it aids me, protects me from some attacks, particularly the nefarious necrotic nature.
Well, it is very pretty. Did you do it yourself?
Yes, I mean, well, with the help of a local artist. Well, local to yeah, she probably would have gotten it in Ur-Durra. Yeah, I'll say that.
Yeah,
If
the
anybody's
rhyming
super,
tattoo industry.
Yes.
if anybody's super paying attention, there is like a steady outline of a new tattoo forming on the one and only Stanwyck Chinoli's neck.
Nice.
Pretty light right now.
Aloysius comes up to Nibbles, or not Nibbles, but the one and only Stanwyck Chinoli, and kind of grabs his arm. Oh, I've been such a fan of yours. Oh, you're quite strong too.
I've been working out. I did some cardio today.
Oh, it shows.
When who are you?
I am Aloysius. You may call me Al. I'm a friend of Nibbles here to help out in this great endeavor of ours.
I like this one. He gets it. Anyways, they're after you, and I need a place to lie low. Nibbles, can I don't know that I've met you, but can I stay here? Oh, yeah, he's fine. You're fine.
I see someone else having a talk between two characters.
I forgot. Talking to yourself is really weird. Yes. Thanks. I'm gonna go hide now.
I think it would be wise if
I'll
we
find you
have
later.
a few hideouts that we know are safe among the city. We know my place is available on the other pedal. I don't remember what title it. Maisie, I'm sorry. Maisie says that. Also the two characters thing is weird.
So confusing.
Maisie, that's Sarah's character.
No, Maisie. Shit. Petunia. Damn it. Forgot my character's name.
I'm imagining you guys missed out, Mary. I'll be
They just keep on like, oh, let me go get them.
Oh, did you see Petunia? You just missed her.
Well, my shop is constantly moving around, so it would make a great place for people to hide. The one and only Stanwyck Chinoli, I have a large bed in my room if you'd like to hide out there.
You say it constantly moving around, and what's the thread count on those sheets?
I don't have a place where you can hide, but I can help you get out of town.
No one is ever going to kick the one and only Stanwyck Chinoli out of Ur-Durra. I am the crown jewel. I am the heart of this city. I put on amazing shows. He stares daggers at Megan.
Yes, well,
What? I wonder what.
He's right.
What
He's
would-
the
what would-
most wanted man in the city.
What did Gerp say about your shows? Remind me.
He loved them till the moment he figured that he'd heard the best one and he didn't need to hear anymore.
Petunia starts sobbing at the mention of her.
Grunglebuck just rolls his eyes and just turns around and starts fiddling with his nude gear.
Yeah, Petunia probably excuses herself to go see if Bibbles needs help. She's emotionally a little distraught all over again.
Now, Al, you say your shop moves?
Yes, it's I sell difficult to find items, and I would like to be difficult to find as well.
Hmm. Well, maybe you'll have to show me how to find it sometime.
Well, I have a couple moments.
Yeah. Ooh, when are we leaving? And how long will it take us to find the
The
shop?
sexual tension is broken by Bibbles shouting as you're like Petunia's going over to like find some maybe place to distract herself from the feeling.
Yeah.
You quickly started working with Bibbles, and you can see where like some part of the like iris, you can see like all these like magical like light emitters are like supposed to like spin around. There's something that's just like that Bill was trying to fix. This hasn't been used as a projector yet. It's the first time he's actually done this since it was used as a recorder. And you can see that he has this like enchantment thing that need to fix. And like you spend like a couple moments just like helping him fix the thing, and then it's like, that did it. And you see just like the inky like magic blackness like they project from the iris of this thing, and then on top of that are like project all these other like colors and stuff, and you can see the inner workings of the this magic eye thing start like throwing up these like basically like shadows and stuff on the wall that create these like figures, and starts resolving into the place that perhaps again stirs up some of those emotions, the place we saw some of your recent companions pass away, the heart of Ur-Durra, the Hydro Forge.
Can't escape her feelings.
Nibbles is ready to play the recording.
Take your finger.
So I'm going to take a quick, we'll take a quick couple minute break and come back to Nibbles doing the recording.
Oh, Aloysius.
All right, I'm gonna order a round of cold showers for everyone.
All right, everyone strip.
So the Empire of Anarchy is your band, so you got other members. That's cool. Cool with that. And the other band, the Apocalypse band,
No idea.
Apathy of Apocalypse. You don't
I think that was Mark's.
Apathy of Apocalypse?
That's Mark's.
That was totally Mark's thing. Okay.
That's Mark's thing.
For some reason, I thought you had like encountered their bandmates before.
Carla. Yeah.
Yeah, you'd encountered Carla before.
Yeah.
Okay. So I thought I remembered, but I didn't have the right notebook to verify.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that genre of music for that band was Foul Wave, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah.
For Curlos?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Oh,
okay, somewhere else. I thought it was found over in my notes for these games specifically. Yeah, it was like post iron fell wave or something ridiculous.
nice.
Doesn't matter. She went corporate anyway. Wow.
Out to the Imperium.
They just released something called the Black Album.
Just this little like echo of Weezer incorporated in the metal.
One at their concert shouted Judas and the Imperium execute.
Okay.
Well, the one and only Stanwyck Chinoli, if you need to find my place, just ask the urchins. They always know where to find it. And don't be afraid to try out the clothes that I have in the dresser drawer at the end of the bed.
Insight check?
I think with advantage, he's laying it on pretty thick.
What am I rolling against this?
I mean, if you want to roll against this, I mean, you can roll to give him even more assistance if you want. It sounds like you have an outcome you would love to see.
I rolled an 18 on horny check.
Yeah.
Well, I was so hoping you'd have a moment to show me where your place would be.
Well, I'd
If I
love
have
to,
task
but
with street urchins, I will. Bottom drawer, you said?
all of the drawers.
And this moment is interrupted by the excited, victorious cry of Bibbles, having fixed with Petunia's assistance the Oculus device, the recording device. And your attentions are brought to something beyond the bedrooms of Al. Bibbles comes running back out to the main area and like carrying the like heavy it's like a it's like a heavy like 10-15 pound like device that looks like this eye and has like this like like shrinks as it moves back towards like the nerve cluster almost, so it's like connected to it. It's this weird thing. And he looks around like confused and as so somewhere to put this thing, and then Petunia, you come out like realizing he's taken it off the like rolling table that he uses to like hold this thing, and then like brought it in there, leaving it behind. Then you like come in just like a moment later, bringing it in. Yeah. And he says, "Oh, it's excellent," and sets it back down onto the thing that he just picked it off of. And he starts like fiddling with it and like pointing it at a wall. Most of the walls and ceiling of this place are just like crowded with pipe works and stuff, but there is like one wall in the back that looks like probably was like put up. Nibbles probably built that wall to kind of set off this space from being just like a tunnel and stuff. And so he begins to point this thing at the back wall. And says, "Everyone, I have it ready. Are we ready to see what the eye has seen?"
See this. Okay.
Put it on, cousin. No need for dramaticisms. Just play it.
As you come back into the room, as he's merely just hoping to gather everybody to watch it, and not be add any flair to his procession. But maybe you see that in him, seeing it in yourself. But be that as it may, you guys gather, and Bibbles, with a twist of the like eye on the outer edge of this thing, turns it on, and it begins replaying what it saw. It begins with this like very loud thrumming drive of the hydroforge actually working in action. And you see those like many panels of this thing that like look like a many chamber heart pumping and driving like pistons, like this like living like engine almost in constant motion, slow to stop. It's like it like is just running for a while, and like Bibble's like kind of like coughs and like laughs kind of nervous. Like, well, just skip a little bit and get to the action, and kind of fast forwards this thing, and you guys see again like this magic shadow that just has like these almost like a shadow play, but with these kind of like saturated like arcane lights casting some color to it as well. But you see the hydroforge, and Bibbles kind of like messes with it a little bit again and like zooms in to to more clearly focus on the hydroforge and the area around it. And you see that soon when he pauses or like plays it again at normal speed, and the hydroforge, the sound of it has come to a stop, and you see gnomes beginning to it's like ants just coming like in this like very very efficient if chaotic procession begin like dismantling the hydroforge. You see that they're like referencing like ancient texts and tablets and stuff for information about how this thing actually comes apart. As you guys all know, this has never been done before. And they go through, they start pulling off these different panels, and like soon you see the interior of this complex device, and at the very center of it, it's like Bellstone crystal. Some time passes again, and Bibbles has to fast forward it for a much shorter period this time until activity resumes. Now that this, after the like workers, the laborers who like disassembled this thing, like all these like gnomish tinkerers and stuff that worked on this, they left as their work was done. At least in this space, you see them like beginning, like they set up some like new pipes and things that they're going to be integrating into the hydroforge and whatnot. But then they leave, and some time passes, and the figure of the whispered litany walks in, or at least the person that Nibbles immediately recognizes, even through this illusion, just through her stride, her mannerisms. And the rest of you see the five-tongued voice, this ambassador from the Imperium that has been very close with the Council of Innovation for these years, walk into this space. She gracefully steps across the like catwalks and utility access in the hydroforge. She walks up to the crystal itself, and you can see that she just reaches out with a hand and is just like almost like caressing this Bellstone crystal as she walks around. It's like 5-foot diameter of this big like pillar of this Bellstone.
Does Nibbles call out that that's whispered of me, or would others?
Yes, he does. That's that bitch.
Nita becomes much more tense once you say that, because she's been in contact with Nazira.
Yeah. That thought also just like you're just like that realization, like, oh, Nazira told me about this person that now Nibbles is saying is here. It makes you perhaps want to reach out to Nazira. In that thought, and I think you have the arcane or the miraculous ability to do so.
Yeah.
That spell today.
Yeah, probably did.
You do not have your spells selected, or are you just wanting a mulligan on one of those?
You know what? I probably don't have that ready right now, but I will. It's probably getting later in the day. Imagine we're gonna sleep soon. I will probably get that from Zero before too long.
Yeah.
Once I rest.
Yeah, that definitely that recognition sends a bit of a worried chill through your spine.
Yeah.
Do you know Nazira to be a has her interests and passions, but to be a very analytical person, and them and Nazira to describe with a lot of worry and describe in certain terms of danger this person represents.
Yeah.
Um,
I think the danger of this person and like the reality of the Imperium's forces being very, very present.
yeah,
Like Nina would take that very seriously.
yeah. You can see that the five-toned voice is saying something as she takes her tour around the Bellstone Crystal. Bibbles or like Vomit says, like, can you hear what she's saying, Bibbles? And Bibbles like rewinds it really briefly, looks like a twist of the iris, and like zooms in further, and you start hearing instead of just like the what you heard earlier, just the resounding drive of the hydroforge, and then the like clanking of the gnomish levers at work on it. And now you hear, if a little bit garbled, a little bit fuzzy, what as he zooms this in, and like the shadow and like saturated color of the splot, the splotching of this display shows the whispered litany walking around, and you can then begin to hear her voice. And she says, by the agreements of Asmon the Unity versus Lathander the Everdawn, adjudicated by Primus, the vessel of the five divines lays claim to this place. May the will of the vessel of the five's vessel manifest here, as it is in all the realms aligned against the enemy from beyond the common realms. And she says that, and she stops as she kind of finishes her circle and is looking back towards the direction she came, and you see as Bibbles manually changes the zoom again, it like pulls back, you can see more figures approaching. You recognize Hank, the charismatic, slimy agent that also the audience remembers from is the one who helped begin the re-education of Fudd. You see Hank, you see Balabor Nickel Plenty, you see soon the Gwengold Imperium priests. A small like contingent of them arrive, accompanied by some Gwengold guards, and you begin to see the local Ur-Durran hirelings trickle in as well. It looks like many of those just go to their like various like commanding officers or whatever, and like get their orders. Some of them filter back out. Some of them taking positions around this chamber, and the priests. Seemingly knowing their task at hand, take the plates, the 5 plates, these like bellstone, like glass plates, like thick, like a couple inches thick of the bellstone slabs that were delivered by some of these people that walked in and then left the area. They begin moving these to the central column. You hear the whispered litany speak to the priests, and she just says something perfunctory and says that you all know your tasks for the vessel. Make your words swift. Time is not on our side. And they go to work, beginning to pull their slabs to the bellstone and begin like the work of like pushing them up against the thing, like beginning the incantation to go through like each one, starting this process. This is some time before you get live. You see the Whisper Lindy goes and as she's giving these orders, the priests get to work, and you can see her there just kind of observing them for a few moments, making sure they are going about things correctly and there's nothing to intervene with. And you see that she cocks her head, and she begins like moving her mouth, and Bibbles mumbles to himself and like zooms in on this to try and like get the audio of what she's saying, but she isn't speaking audibly. It seems like a magical communication or something else. She is getting she's communicating clearly, communicating with somebody or something that is not here through some magical or telepathic or some other means. But she cocks her head and you see.
Can you read her lips at all?
Ooh, you're welcome to give me a try. Do you think Nita would be particularly able to do this for some reason?
Only that Nita has been working on the underground and trying to evade notice from the Imperium since she kind of escaped them.
Yeah, Nita has a little bit of like a spy.
Yeah, I mean, mostly she's not particularly skilled in being stealthy, but she has had to learn a lot of those skills recently.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Once you it's very difficult because it looks like from your experience, like she's not even like completing sentences because she's not really speaking to anybody, and so a lot of it's like very limited, just like just like if you were trying to speak but not audibly, like what you would do, just like moving your lips, like your throat, be working a little bit, but like it's not like you're not getting a lot of the input, a lot of the So why don't you give me a check with disadvantage?
Okay. What am I rolling?
I'll do just perception.
Perception. Okay.
Maybe when you
Can I bardically inspire her, or am I too distracted by Aloysius's good looks?
Well, I think that's for you to decide. And I think that if you were to notice, I think,
You'd probably be like, "What's she saying?" and like really try to focus.
Yeah, you like ask Bibbles to like play that back and like try and like focus in on her mouth and just see what she's trying to read her lips.
If I'm not inspired with, I have his perception. That's 16.
Yeah, you can take the bardic though.
Okay, is that a D6 or?
That is a D8. I will free my hands for a moment to cast bardic inspiration.
What are your hands doing right now?
Don't worry about it.
We don't want to know.
That's an extra 4, so 20.
20. Yeah. You can't catch everything. You can tell that the Whispered Litany is receiving some news that they are not pleased about. That they are there is a response, like the biggest things that you hear, like the things that she's like responding to, like potentially like with emotion. And you hear first, like you like see like something like, are you sure? Like there's some like questioning there first that you catch, like no, like are you sure? And then says you see her say, do you think it is the old enemy at work? And then you very clearly see her name, like say name, Vera.
What was that name?
She said something about Xerox.
Ooh. That's not
Looks
good.
like she is not very happy about whatever the Big Help Gang is up to. That can only be good news for us.
Could it be? We should check
Yeah,
it
it
out.
looks like her blood's really boiling over that news right now.
She doesn't like it, whatever it is.
Xerox is a person. She's a wonderful orc, half orc, and she's with the Help Gang, the Big Help Gang. I mean, we are trying to thwart their plans at every waking moment. I can only imagine what they're doing at the moment.
So, reassuring probably that whatever the Big Help Gang is up to right now seems to be having an impact.
After this, I'll have to go tell them that. Unless anybody has a way to... communicate.
Sounds like a good plan.
You see as Whispered Litany ends whatever communication that he was having, you see her like, you see that like the people that have gathered here, like some of them like Balabor Nickel Plenty and Hank are both like paying attention or like trying to like awaiting further instruction and stuff from her. Obviously attending to any communication needs or things she needs or is doing. But you see her just completely ignore them for a few moments, and you can see it's like this like overly saturated like shadow play things like showing you the whisper or the 5-tone voice. You see her eyes like just go completely like blank with white, and she's obviously like doing some arcane magic. I think Maisie or I'm sorry, Petunia might have an idea if you want to give me an Arcana check.
Yeah.
Anybody who's I haven't there yet. Really, anybody who's proficient in Arcana
Somebody else should
can
roll
do this as
because
well.
Petunia doesn't roll worth shit. 8.
23.
Nice.
25.
What was that?
25 for Nibbles.
Oh, damn. Okay. Yeah. So
Thank God he freed up his hands.
Nibbles has been watching intently this whole time. The
Nibbles
one and only Stan McShinoli, on the other hand, is very busy.
Nibbles and Grumblebuck both like get the idea, the sense that this person is like the 5-tongue voice is right now doing some magic, like casting their awareness beyond their body. Something like similar to in essence of like astral projection sort of thing. But it's just like trying to do that. And you see that it, judging from your what you read of her lips as she curses as she comes out of this state just a few moments later, that she did not see what she was hoping to see. Or it didn't even have a success or something.
Xerox
She,
is a vampire now.
What's that?
Xerox is a vampire now.
You see the 5-ton voice turns back to Balabor Nickel Plenty, and you hear her say in a much more perfunctory voice, kind of eschewing all the charisma and like honey in her voice as she just orders him to guard the priests and ensure that their work is complete and the words of the council of innovation are read by one of their number. She turns to Hank and says, "And you get back to the embassy." And you see once again her words. She begins to like sub-vocalize, like speak without, like her mouth is moving a little bit without her speaking. And you can give me another check. And now that you guys know that, like, I think that because you pointed out and tried to do this already, anybody else that really wants to try can make this with disadvantage as well.
This is a
Perception check, yeah. Trying to just read the lips of the whispered lips.
14.
I rolled a 23.
23.
One of my want to say my results.
One moment, the one and only Stan McShinoli, I'm needed.
Well, if you can free up one hand each.
Aloysius, you see the whispered litany say to Hank that like she's still communicating. You can see that like Hank is still like looking at her and like nodding, like receiving some communication. Like there's still that like body language happening between them. But she like sort of like sub-vocalizes. You read or you hear or are able to read on her lips, guard the law with your life. Call upon your greater power if needed. when Ashemadai falls to the depths victorious, you will be brought down with us as a fellow champion.
Well, it doesn't make any sense to me, but this is what they said, and I repeat it. Does this mean anything to you, Nibbles?
I mean, bits and pieces, that's the devil, right? They're going to hell. Shemadiah's bad news. We know they're in league. That Constance. You know, a lot has happened since I left the Big Help Gang. They might know more.
Or they might appreciate us sharing this. But you're right. They might not.
This seems like a small circle of trust. On my way over to Ur-Durra, I heard from my buddy Johan, and he had reported that Ashemadai was a core threat to be worried about when it comes to the Imperium. So if he knows it, then I'm assuming the Big Help Gang knows it too.
Yeah, I mean that's what Missouri has shared with me as well. It's significant if both that she's upset with Xerox and also if she's here. This is significant. What she's trying to do here. I think the importance of stopping her or following with her plans is not to be overrated, and she's probably also not to be underestimated.
And we need to find my uncle.
Nibbles.
Bibbles' dad, Nibbles' uncle, who was taken by the Imperium some years ago, and Bombus is the kind of like colleague and partner in their uncle or Nibbles' uncle's business and artificery or tinkering rather. They had a little operation that was well regarded in the city, but was with Nibbles' uncle being disappeared by the Imperium. It sure seems like by the Whispered Litany. That laid the groundwork for one Balabor Nickelflenty to come in, take over the old business and all of its inventions and creations, gain some status in the city and help facilitate the Whispered Lady's plans. Yeah, classic a-hole activity.
He helped deliver something to them.
He sure did. Yeah, one of the things that I think Nibbles would have that intel that he Balabor Nickelplenty assisted with the delivery of a weird artifact to the Imperium as well.
I forget, was it a door? Or a
Yeah, it was a shard of the Temple of Doors. That weird, growing crystalline structure out in the middle of nowhere that is creating various doors on its face. Its many-sided faces, or many faces, that lead people to various, mostly underground dungeons that all seem to, lead to places with bellstone crystals. And then upon going in there and surviving, seemingly, people are rewarded with great treasure. But some people enter and never return. And now the Imperium has one over at East Point.
Oh, East Point. And the Whisper that Nick keeps mentioning a vessel, is she talking about herself or the Bellstone orb?
I think that Nibbles, you would know. I think Nibbles would be familiar enough with what the Big Help Gang has learned about Ashema-Dai and the machinations of the Imperium. That Ashema-Dai, like the vessel is probably referring to either just Constance Gwendol, who wears the crown and like wears or is the vessel of the 5 blessings of the 5 divines, or could be Constance and Constance's 2 siblings, a little trinity of power of devilish power in the Imperium. So that would be Constance, that would be the Whispered Litany, and the mentioned but not seen yet. Yeah. The brother.
The unholy trinity.
Ashema doll.
Yeah. Let me make sure I have that again on my notes
We have
correctly.
yet to witness this being, but I think I have suspicions of who they might be, but I don't remember.
Yeah, there's you've heard the like fiendish or whatever name for these things, Shemadiah being like the trinity of these devils or devilish faces of this devil. Like I think the Big Hell Gang, like I think that's what Nibbles knows.
Oh,
The Big Hell Gang knows a
Shemadalos.
little bit more, and our fans at home will certainly remember that yeah, the as like the in the lore of the world, like as the planes were separated and the world took on its more like current state, or began to take on its current state, the gods were active in like all these different worlds, as and at that time it was okay because like those worlds were kind of overlapping, like those like that existence like made sense. But then as soon as like all the worlds of the material realm like split into like their individual like concretized like separate things, the gods themselves had to do that in a way as well. The gods became more specific to those places, even as they were connected to the greater whole in their divine essence. But anytime, like, and as you guys have like, and your interactions with gods, anytime you're interacting with them, it's like a face of that deity, a face that is specific to this world, to this realm, and has the history of this world as its history. But there are other worlds that have interacted with those gods differently, is kind of what you guys are getting. This world doesn't have a very developed like idea of the world multiverse, or like the myriad worlds in the material plane. But you guys are getting more and more of this impression that like the deities themselves had to like fracture the way that they were interacting, or fracture themselves in the way they were interacting with the people of the various worlds, to be able to deal with the worlds as they were, with all those things separated out. Yeah. So Shemadiah, you guys, the Big Help King has certainly learned, is like this basically Asmodeus, personal to this world. But in that working to basically break that power into individual like aspects that could still work, because like part of the whole like separation of planes and stuff was gods walking around and doing big god stuff was breaking creation, or causing like fractures in it that allowed things from outside to get in. So die to remain working in the world, or Asmodeus to remain working in this world, like broke themselves down into these different aspects to be able to continue affecting the world without being just pulled away by what amounts to like a force of gravity or something at this point. Gods can't walk on the world, just is physically impossible for them given the structure of the universe at this point. So that's kind of the vibe. So get in the comments with any other things I missed there.
Ashemadalos is the assassin. Ashemadal is Gwen Gould, and Ashemafoka is that voice evilness right there. From my notes.
Yeah, I think that's right. You have you guys have learned the voice of the law, the body of the law being Constance, being the like personification of it, and then like the weight. You like had this word that's like I think you guys had enough time to kind of like think about like learn the translations and stuff of it. Tell us the weight or like the force of the law like in its actual effect. So these three different aspects of Asmodeus. Um,
I think Nita is very worried, hearing, like knowing that this is another point where they're really infringing on these three cities. This is serious and has big consequences.
yeah. But the Whispered Litany delivers those words to Hank, who after has that like continued telepathic conversation, nods. He departs. You see that Whisper Litany continues as like getting ready to leave. Like at that point, like after the conversation with Hank, like you can tell is like looking around, preparing to leave, and then like Balabor Nickel Plenty in this like kind of whining voice to her, my mistress, I just questioned if I might be given more assistance to make sure that I can sufficiently see to it that your tasks given to me are satisfactorily completed. I am fearful of failing you, my lady. And she looks at him with absolute disdain. Again, like this news having like just really stricken the visage of congeniality that she like so often is like wears here. And you see, like you can hear the disdain in her voice come through. And she says, it's your appropriately go gather your invention that you took with you the first time you took a life. Shed that darkness, and some servants will come to aid you. He like kind of nods and like a little smile crosses his face and sort of like scampers off. Moments later, the Whispered Litany speaks a few words. You see her body transform. The just beautiful, like well-kept appearance of the five-tongue voice melts away. This body shrinks down, and you see a malnourished, poorly treated body covered in what looks to be scars, wearing little more than like the basic rags needed to provide some amount of dignity and just essential warmth against the cold. Just these rags, tattered rags cover their body, and they are just like shivering and just kind of like passively waiting for some thing. And one of the priests comes along, gathers them, and takes them away. Nibbles, you've seen such a creature before.
She hopped
I
in
believe,
his body.
believe it was Nibbles who was in the Whispered Litany's HQ in Petton. Certainly, yeah. As he said, one of the bodies the Whispered Litany has use of. Return to what it looks like when it's not being occupied.
So does it like pass out when she's gone? And they, like,
It is,
take care of it.
yeah. It's
away?
not passed out. It is aware, but it is like a very viciously treated animal that is just waiting for like just expecting pain at any juncture and is looking for like just the smoothest way to just avoid that wherever it comes from. and it is just passively waiting for to be moved or anything else.
Whispered Litany's lobotomy friend.
Yep.
Gross.
You need to remember that look of that being because we need to kill it while we're here.
Oh, there was one other thing that occurred. Um, the prisoners that you guys saw, that you guys that were in the Hydro Forge, and you guys had your battle there, and of whom many were killed by Battleborn Nickelplenty's fireball.
That weren't us.
The survivors, now that you saw, were designated as the new security force of Ur-Durra by Three Malo Crisptos, one of the Council of Innovation. The one that whose eye you took and who used that as ample fuel for propaganda against you. So these, you see them brought into this chamber as well. And
He's got no proof we took his eye. He could have did that himself.
Yeah, exactly. And you see that Whispered Litany goes to the crowd. These gathered 13 prisoners. Almost all of them gnomes, but you do see a human and a half elf among their number. And Whispered Litany has turned away from the camera. She's addressing this group. And she says to them, as was agreed, all mortals who find themselves aligned against the enemies from beyond the common realms, all those who ally themselves with the vessel of the five, are subject to the five. We call upon you
Oh, great and powerful.
great and powerful deity.
Your skills show no limit.
Your name is never far from our
The
lips.
sun rises due to your magnificence.
Which one
Sorry, I was trying to help.
Yeah, she technical difficulty. He says, all those aligned with the vessel of the five are subjects to the will of the five. Kalambor, god of death, guide of spirits who have relinquished immortal coil. Give these over in life as you will death to the house of a Shemadai, that they may learn now what fate awaits them and adjust their course appropriately. And you see that each of them, as they hear these words, the prisoners, they're all kind of clinging to each other, not knowing what to expect, and they look with rapt attention at the Whispered Litany. And you see that they're all their faces slacken, their eyes go white as they are taken. And as we know from our little glance into Thud's experience, taken for some amount of re-education. They are held above the pit of the hells themselves, or at least, in this case, the house of a Shemadai. Whatever that is, they're taken there and held by the grace of a Shemadai above being plummeted into that torment. And weeks, years pass for them, and the minutes and hours before your party arrives. And with this, the Whispered Litany leaves, leaving this withered body behind. And Hank has left to go defend the embassy at the Whispered Litany's request. And Balabor Nickelplenty was left here to ensure that the priest's activities were left uninterrupted and that the words of the Council of Innovation were read. They take the Whispered Litany's withered body away. Hank's gone. The prisoners are like their like chains are driven into the spot where they just like sit here basking in the glow of the bellstone crystal and all this like stuff around them, just looking like as if they are in absolute agony as their bodies show some sign of this years-long torment they are experiencing. And time passes as the priests begin their work. They are chanting as they are pressing their palms against these panels, now all aligned and beginning to fuse themselves with the Bellstone crystal. Minutes pass, more and more, and eventually you can see the first signs of your party's arrival, and it's
I think it was
mixed bag of a victory.
I think the first sign of our arrival was the guards bringing in their version. And then us bringing in our version.
Yeah, you see that. Yeah,
It
absolutely.
get pretty weird.
There's you see like a version of Three Muller Cristos comes in, and then a second one, and then they have like a reciting off, a contested reciting of the scroll. And it's really unclear based on the video which one is the real Three Mallow until eventually like it's revealed and dropping.
The people were there.
Al, did you see that good acting? Al, did you see that good acting? Did you see it? Did you see it?
Right.
We don't need to see the rest.
It was quite amazing.
You guys see Thud heroically carrying the unconscious or dying body of Stanwyck out of danger. You see Glumero die, as well as Gerp, both dying. And it is with
few party members try to go back to save them and then run away terrified as more guards come pouring in.
Yeah. And the Bibbles with a little bit of like a nervous or like, oh, that was unfortunate. And he like ends the recording. And you guys sit in the weight of witnessing those recent deaths. And
Petunia is sitting there sobbing.
Yeah.
Just inconsolable.
Mm-hmm.
Petunia's pretty broken up about it.
Yeah. But it also looks like there's food ready. So how about we take a food break? Like at 10 or 15.
Sounds good.
Cool.
Somebody remind me to start the recording again once we start playing again.
It's off and like you feel like your asshole is like, oh, like just let me die.
I love the jump, the assumption that it's like one of those I've seen it out 3 times around the room. It's so great. Mr. President, for your good.
No, he survived just assassination attempt for that to happen.
Well, the first guy obviously had to improvise just like his pipe or something.
Get that pipe on there.
Yeah. No,
someone needs to invent an invention for this.
Step in and then blow on the ball.
Ah, there you go. That's smart. So that way you're blowing hot ash into.
Yeah. The smoke doesn't wake you up. A hot cherry from the pipe is definitely gonna wake you up.
Like it really made them seem
It really
alert.
made him vibrant all of a sudden.
What is that? That
For about
device
5
over
seconds.
there? It's a
He used all sorts of
flatulence
swear
assisted
words
rectal
you've never
tubing
heard before.
or
Yeah.
fart for short.
This is where the word fuck was invented.
Oh man.
Flatulence is a rectal tubing.
It's so funny. It's like they were like successfully like doing like brain surgery on people in Rome, like carving out chunks of their skulls and stuff. And then in like the 1800s, we're blowing smoke in people's asses. Like
Down
human
now.
development is not a straight line.
It's not a linear process, folks.
No, there's actually a theory that Abraham Lincoln might have survived that gunshot wound, but it was
Yeah.
actually the medical treatment for sounding the bullet that
Yeah.
actually killed him. They just took metal rods and tried to find it in his head.
Like stab around in there until they feel like pain.
No.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure he like would have had some really significant like impacts from having a metal
Yeah.
wall in his brain. But people live with shit in their
Yeah,
brain.
like what's his name? The guy that survived with the stake. He was
Oh, the
eye
like
socket.
the rail
Yeah, the
one?
rail. Yeah,
Phineas
Phineas Gage.
Yeah.
Phineas Gage.
That's it.
It's wild.
Yeah. But it like had significant changes to his personality.
Yeah,
and,
it's like maybe we don't want you to be president anymore, but we're glad to see you
Yeah.
alive, Abraham.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. We might still want it.
Split audience on that one.
I mean,
Yeah.
how
Yeah,
would
I might
history be
still-
different had
Yeah.
I might still
Yeah.
take a shot in the head, Abraham Lincoln, over either of our prospects.
I mean, can we have like zombie?
Like half of his head is missing.
There's some lead in that bullet. It's in your brain, but we think you've got a few more good years with you.
Yeah.
That's why you got the hat.
And like honestly, if zombie Abraham Lincoln ran today
Yeah.
against the current candidates,
Yeah, it's like
I think his prospects would be pretty good. Like-
you have to take age off the table
Yes.
with any of the candidates. So like they're pretty equal footing there.
Like, I mean, I know.
Yeah.
It definitely took me a solid few minutes to figure out if we were talking about Dungeons and Dragons when I came back, or if we were talking about something else as we were talking about flatulent assisted tubing.
I mean, reality is relative.
He would just come out in his Gettysburg Address over and over again. Just be like, yeah, good job, President.
Four scorch.
Wait.
Like for some reason though, he keeps on updating the year. Like in that, so he's like 5 scorch. Still continues the old timey like reckoning of time of years.
He's
See?
really accurate with that.
He's so sharp. He's
Sharp
so
as a
sharp.
tack, this guy. As he walks into the podium when he's trying to get off the stage.
All right, someone remind Ryan to remind Joel to start recording again.
Joel, start the recording.
Right, remind Joel to start the recording.
I got it.
I can't hear the claps, Mark, when you clap. It only picks up your voices.
Damn it.
Sorry, bud.
Nice.
That's good.
Oh, good. They picked that up.
That was some great silence that I heard. You have to clap while talking at the same time. It's like a very confusing.
Oh.
Yeah, this microphone is preferred by businesses because it automatically filters out like loud noises that might be like violence or like people yelling at each other in an
Like
office.
violence and
Yeah.
yelling.
So-
Okay.
Things that often
Things
occur
that-
in
Yeah.
office. And
I
the
hate when I'm on a
offices don't want to
conference call
admit
and
that's happening.
a fist fight interrupts the
Sorry, could you
presentation.
repeat yourself? There was some violence coming in over the line.
That's how I know you worked at an Israeli organization.
I was just gonna say.
We need our iPad funding. Don't say something on the screen.
I mean, I was just assuming that they were only going for lower voices because they didn't want to include women in the
We digitally programmed them to not hear women.
It's just a feature of like what data you use on the inputs. It's like when they like doing like AI and stuff or like visual like photograph stuff, and it's like just doesn't work for people with dark skin tones and stuff like that. It's like women just were just not present during testing for some reason. So
Yeah.
God.
It's like if you try to have a black doctor working with white children,
yeah,
it doesn't work. Like for AI,
yeah,
it cannot
like cannot compute.
a black doctor working with white children. Messed up.
It's the old people that don't like working with the black doctor.
Yes.
The kids are the problem.
AI needs to sort this out.
All right. We'll cut all that out and post.
More editing homework to do.
One gold Imperium.
Move for constant.
All right. So you guys see the aftermath of the well, you guys see out to the point where Grumblebuck grabs the recording, and then it's just like this like really chaotic, and like as it continues to record with your like moving like as you're like climbing down, and then like you stash it somewhere, and it's just then it goes dark, and you can hear and not see several of your companions dying. But the
You're telling me
recording,
about
Probably is
like bad mouthing his group all the way back.
Petunia shrunk into a corner and is covering her ears.
yeah,
Or maybe crawled out of the room, depending on how far she can go.
yeah. I think Petunia might still want to help with it. Maybe that would be limited to providing best ways to get around town.
Yeah.
quickly.
Yeah,
But,
she wants to be useful, but she's
yeah.
not okay right now.
You guys see the Bibbles ends the projection, and you guys all feel a heavy silence. I think fill the room for a moment as you guys take in everything that you saw until that is broken by one of you, I'm sure.
I think Nita probably says, huh. Well, that's sobering. I don't know how we overthrow those enchantments that they're placing. But perhaps we can figure out a way.
Crackback has seen his master do like last rites. So he'll like wave his hand over the book and like towards the projection.
Yeah. Yeah.
Would need to have a sense of if it's possible to reverse the kind of magic that they were doing on the crystal.
Yeah, so I think you thinking about that, I think Nita asks about the crystals and about how what they ended up, how those panels were at the end of your the fight there, as the recording basically gets into Grumblebuck's hands and possession before several rounds before you guys actually exited. So I think I think you would learn that you guys seem to have killed all the priests who were doing that ritual before they completed it. So if there was ever a time to undo what was done there, that would be sooner rather than later.
It's a matter of time before they train for me, Chris, to complete the enchantment. Would I know the ramifications of a partial enchantment on the Bellstone? Like how strong is this magic going out to the city?
Yeah. You'll start like thinking like out loud on along these lines, I think, to the group.
Probably muttering about how I must ask Nazira about such and such enchantments.
Yeah, like there's time of zero where what would be useful.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think any of you who are proficient in Arcana or religion can roll a check or kind of insight along those lines, or any of you can roll and then like let me know like what if there's like an inquiry or like something about that magic or that process or something that you're interested in like questioning or learning about or knowing about.
I'm kind of interested if Crackback felt when when he read the scroll aloud, we all felt something go through us all. The gnomes did.
Mhm.
I was wondering if Crackback had felt that being a goblin and not a gnome and not a member of Ur-Durra, that just being a
Yeah.
whatever.
Crackback wasn't in the proximity of the Hydrofort when that was said, so I don't think it wasn't like a citywide phenomenon as far as you can tell. Like none of the Crackback didn't experience it, and neither did the gnomes that were around him at the Temple of God.
Oh,
Well, Nita rolled a really shit roll, but got a 13, and on religion, and I did roll for Petunia. I don't know if that's okay.
Yeah.
Petunia got a 24.
Oh wow. Okay. So
she doesn't understand the
you
broader
got 24.
picture, but she's a wizard and knows a bit about wizardy things.
Yeah. The other
Megan got a 20 religion check. Trying to figure out the purpose of the ritual and its impact if it's only partially complete. It doesn't look like it was even halfway complete
right.
based on the recording.
Yeah. I think they sealed 2 of the panels,
Mhm.
and then there were 3 that were partial,
Yeah.
like in progress. Anybody else get a 20 or above, or something worth mentioning? Any of our online friends still here?
I rolled a 9 for Nibbles, and the one and only sandwich only remains distracted at the moment.
Yeah, I was gonna say I was distracted, so no rolls.
Excellent.
I imagine it's like a dark movie theater, and there's like a dark corner somewhere where like nobody's paying attention, but when the lights come on, it's like
Just a mass of limbs and beards.
except if I remember right, we're in a tiny shop somewhere.
Yeah, but there's
You're
there's
like
a back
trash.
corner. It's not well lit,
We
especially.
can
with
definitely
some-
hear what's going on.
You hear a large crash as all the knickknacks in the shop fall on the floor.
Yeah, so the 2 of you, yeah, just why don't you start and just remind me what the exact like inquiry was.
So
24, I think it was.
soon you got 24. She's rewatching this for the second time in a way. Being able to see it from another perspective. And yeah. I think the inquiry was around. I'm also kind of forgotten. I think
crystal.
You said
Around the
more
crystal.
general because
I think Nita was curious about
the specific one that rolled poorly.
Yeah.
More
So
general.
Nita was curious about like understanding the current state of the crystal and like how like is there a way to reverse this basically?
Yeah. Yeah, and you both rolled religion.
I
I rolled Arcana for
Arcana?
Petunia.
Oh.
Petunia got Arcana.
Okay.
Nita rolled religion.
Yeah, but Nita's roll is terrible.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Okay,
yeah,
you-
Petunia
yeah,
with
religion.
Arcana. Yeah, I think Petunia with Arcana. You think that this is a lot of like certainly like very obviously like divine magic, which certainly follows maybe some different rules in some cases or some different forms than typical like arcane magic. But you see that many of the fundamentals are the same. Like as far as, especially as Bellstone, like Bellstone, you can see, and being a gnome, like like gnomes are one of the few, like of Ur-Durra are one of the few like cities and people that are like already somewhat familiar with the magical properties of Bellstone. And they're one of the groups that Windblown Trading Company has been building this network with, because they're like, oh, there's like Bellstone of like being mined in Ball Creek. We already know that Ur-Durrans already have a market for this. Like it's already like a connection that's like being built. But the Ur-Durrans, yeah, like you get this sense that the the magic here that's at work, Bellstone's already like this thing that like works very fundamentally by the laws of magic, and like it has, you like even see the 5 faces of this crystal like have like arcane implications, and that like they're putting these panels on all 5 of them, and for this ritual, for this magic to be complete, to be sealed and like made permanent, all 5 of these need to be completed. There is power with every one of them that is added to the crystal, but before all 5 of them are sealed, it's not complete, and they all can be undone. There is that potential.
Like until the 5 are complete, all can be undone, or do
Exactly, yeah.
Okay.
Like it'll be more difficult to do the 2 that have already been like sealed, but like until like the 5 are all complete, then like the ritual can be like reversed. It'll be like much easier for the 3 that are only partially done, much more difficult for the 2 that are already in there. But given time, you could do that potentially. And their influence will be weakened as you pull each of those like partial ones out. That'll influence the stability of the remaining 2, and influence the like power of whatever magic is involved here.
But we still don't really know what it's doing, right?
You just have some idea, and I think a lot of it is confirmed by your role, Megan. With your religion check, you can hear, like you can. What languages do you speak, first of all?
Dwarvish, Elvish, and Gnomish.
Okay, in common.
No
No
comment.
common.
There's no common. Only Zulu.
I think that enough of what the ritual these priests are speaking is in common that you can get a really strong gist of what their intent is. They're Since you guys are like kind of like rewatching parts of this and like taking time to zoom in on different parts, or like rewatch and listen to different parts of the recording that were interesting to you, or you're wondering about, you're able to hear much of what these priests are saying, at least the stuff in common. They're reciting what it seems like they are like vocalizing and like establishing through this miraculous like magic work, what is actually written on these tablets, on these big slabs that are being like fused with the Bellstone. And you can tell that it is basically a legal, like this like arcane, like religious legal framework that establishes Ur-Durra as an allied outpost of the Glen Golden Imperium, and the vessel of the 5 divines. It is seemingly a religiously binding practice that they're doing that will make very much in effect any, like, you get the impression with that religion check, any like religious or deific like laws or rules that are associated with what's written on here on these tablets would be in effect if made, would be like permanently made effect on this in this place if successfully completed. right now those are influential, but there might be like some way to challenge those. Like it's not like fully like determined yet at this point. Like, like theological like laws and stuff are weird in that way where they like can be in effect, but also like you can still like question them because like the gods are like all the gods are constantly like in opposition to each other in many ways. So they're like these weird ways where until it's like, until this ritual is complete, it's assailable in the religious legal sense in this weird way.
Crackback's wondering if we could like switch one or two phrases and make it so that Ur-Durra is slave to, or I mean, the Imperium is slave to Ur-Durra. Having no idea how that would be possible.
I think you guys can all make a check on this. This is a brilliant and potentially significant thought, but it would take some very difficult work to make a reality.
What kind of check?
I think it would definitely be you can do. I feel like this would be religion ideally for people, or just religion's an intelligence check already.
Yeah.
So I'm going to say religion because otherwise it's going to be just a flat intelligence as well. Or, I mean, history is intelligence as well, but could have a proficiency difference. So yeah, I'll say intelligence or religion or history.
16.
I got 20 for Nita and weirdly 24 for Petunia.
Yeah.
22 for
Because
Gungle.
now she rolls well.
24.
24.
15 for history.
Okay, so we got a 24. We have a 20 something for 23 for
Petunia and 20 for Nita.
20 for Nito.
She has probably a little more well-rounded understanding.
Yeah, and the other above 20s.
22.
22.
Only we had someone who was good with magical runes.
Petunia bursts into tears all over.
Ouch.
Really wanted to see her friend.
Yeah, this like question from the least educated of these makes you all think for a moment about this question about like fundamentally like just realigning or this basically like weaponized religious law that they're trying to establish here. You think I think that like this with all those like above 20 rolls, I think this like inspires like this question like there's silence in the room for like a solid like 5 seconds. Everybody's just like, is it that fucking simple? And your mind all sort of racing. And you also like talking about different like elements of this. I think you think that this is very much possible. It would be very difficult. And like Crackback mentions that like it would be, I wish we had somebody who knew runes. Like that is like an essential like limitation or challenge here, because you would need to like effectively like erase portions of what is written on the bellstone and replace it with different runes that make sense within that like grammatical structure and stuff. But and then you would need to either like trick them into completing the ritual or completing it yourself, but you would need to like do the rest of the ritual as well. So it would be very challenging because like you would need to like basically like pull out the three panels that are currently partially fused to the bellstone, and then that would you think would weaken the remaining two enough that you could raise them up out of the stone itself. That would be even more difficult. But once you did that, you could then, with expertise, rewrite them to some extent, and then like either just like reverse engineer through the recording what the ritual was, and then like do it yourselves, or trick like the Gwengold Imperium. It's like, oh, we rewrote the contract, but you like put it into place where they're like there's like things like that, whatever method you did. so long as you like completed that ritual, you could do this. Yes, absolutely. There are some big hurdles to do it, but you could do it. You think?
You need sacrifice.
Back volunteers. Volunteers tribute.
Rita, I think, with all of this conversation and like the question about wishing you had an expert on runes and hearing about the recent loss, Nita has some experience with the dead.
Nita looks at some of the recent adventurers. How long has your friend been? How long ago did your friend demise? Do you know where his body is kept?
His body is. If I saw his body was in the room.
Unless they moved it. It's down there.
It's possible that we could revive him if we need someone who could work with runes. I have the skill, though it's expensive. We would need a diamond worth at least 500 gold. I don't know if I have that right now.
Oh, I have one of those at the shop.
Okay.
You have a lot of things there.
How fortuitous. So that might be something we could arrange. A rune expert. And
Are you sure it's wise to go back in there? I mean, we did just watch the video.
Will they expect further tampering? I mean, yes, there is always risk.
We have to stop it before it is done.
I was thinking we could either go back in there and steal the plates and bring them back to Nibbles, or we could learn what we need to do and then go in and do it all there. But I think bringing it back to Nibbles would probably be easier.
Nibbles plans on going in.
Oh, well, I mean,
So
just bringing it back to Nibbles
I'm
is
going
a
with you.
workshop or a hideout. Or maybe even Aloysius's goods.
How big are these plates?
Yeah, each of those like panels would be like several feet wide and like 6 feet tall, probably. So probably like 3 by 6.
3 by 6.
Yeah.
Can I teleport all of that?
Very beautiful.
I forget the teleportation spell, but can I teleport all of those things?
We got a dimension
Or do we have
door.
to be holding them?
Yeah, if you guys were all holding that, like if you have teleportation, like if you can teleport multiple people and what they're holding, you could potentially distribute the weight well enough and like them as like carried objects, but I think it requires some like concerted like on that round strength checks to determine who was successful and who was not, as like unless it's under your carry weight, which we could look at depending on your strength. But anybody who under, we'd have some check. So I think there's some potential there, but it would have some limitations and some challenges, I think.
Everybody furiously studying their spells.
It says 8 willing creatures or an object that can fit in a 10-foot cube. This is one object. Imagine if we're carrying those objects. I don't know. That's for a DM to decide.
What spell are you looking at exactly?
Teleport.
Okay.
It would take me an hour to bring your friend back from the dead. So we need to find his body, assuming it hasn't been obliterated.
Let's hope not.
It may very well still be in there. If they're scrambling to get this thing fixed, they may have just shoved him to the side. So the quicker we act,
Ugh.
the more likely it'll be that he will still be there if we need him.
Yeah. Okay. I feel it sounds imperative that we act soon then. Do we need to take a rest first? And then
Did
go
I
with first
take-
on? Yeah.
We don't really
I,
have a lot of time.
did I make a good analysis of the route in and potential means of ingress? Should I need to come back?
Yeah. Yeah, you guys are definitely familiar with the route you guys took. And I think that in addition to that, with with Petunia's help, especially your experience down there and like seeing those navigational designations that were like like the what was it is it Alpha or whatever the live location where you were meeting with Three Malacristos. I think that you guys have a pretty good idea now of how to navigate the space of the Hydroforge and could probably do so relatively independently.
And Petunia doesn't want to go back down there. She is happy to provide directions
Yeah.
or insights into how to get there on the lowdown.
And like I think that we can say that if you're down, Carly, we can say that Petunia wants to stay behind here. That we can have some sort of gnomish communication device that'll let Petunia be the like guy in the van.
Yeah, I think Bibbles and Petunia had talked about using sending stone, and Petunia forgot to take one. So there's the probably there.
Yeah. Yeah, hopefully that Petunia can stay behind and like be giving like navigational advice to everybody and help people navigate the
This guy says 500.
She would love to contribute, though she is quite
Go back
sticky.
to hell.
Yeah.
So yeah, does that answer?
What did I just did that say 6,000 pounds?
Ways.
Okay.
What are you guys looking at?
I have the call steed ability,
Yeah,
which can summon a camel.
Yeah, find greater Steve. I've got the find greater Steve one.
Oh, the greater steed.
Yeah.
Nice. So he's
So
got
it's
even better than me.
Well, I'm looking at Celestial Rhino right now.
Oh, these two are
That was
not
my
Doesn't really
nickname
have-
back in school.
It doesn't have like a definitive carrying weight, but
Yeah.
some guy said 500 pounds in the comments on this one. So
Yeah.
I guess I could do it by his strength. It's got 16 strength.
This one is
Yeah, but
21
like
strength.
strength should also scale with like size. So I tend to think like, like a huge creature with like an 18 strength would still be able to carry more than a medium-sized creature with an 18 strength. But,
That's also an option if we need to
Mhm.
get in and get out. Just
Just
Load
for
it up.
and stuff, even
Yep.
if we just need both.
Yep.
I mean, this one's got a 50-foot move speed.
Yeah, and actually, if we load up the plates, all of the plates on these two, then that's going to be easier for the teleportation to fire off.
Oh yeah, if you wanted to just teleport them out of there, I was
Yeah.
thinking just running them out of there, but putting them all on those two things and then teleporting those two things out. Yeah, that's awesome.
Bomba says that I'm a little hesitant to give any of you young folk advice. You're the ones that are heading out there and risking your lives. But something I noticed while watching the recording on the second time, the 5-tone whispered litany is Nibbles falter. Seems she paid a little bit more care to one of her servants than the other. Hank.
Mm.
And she sent him to guard the law with his life. I don't know if that's important, but it does seem like we have two targets we can think about.
So maybe if we kill Hank, something unravels.
I think we need to save the innovation councils. They're clearly needed in giving up our people. they needed crisp.
Wasn't Crisp Toes one member of the Innovation Council?
Was.
Yes, and they're all
Wasn't
the embassy.
he permanently compromised?
I think they all are.
But
Yeah.
so
It's
we
not
can't
permanent.
save
It-
them.
No.
Yeah,
Every
I don't think we
stronger-
save them so much as annihilate them.
One
Or-
eyeball at a time.
No more removing eyeballs if we can
We need
avoid
to
it.
know if whatever is bewitching the council could be undone.
I don't think this group, I mean, I think we all know with more meta knowledge what's kind of afflicting them to some extent, but I don't think this group really fundamentally understands what exactly is happening. Like you guys
Right.
definitely have an idea that they've been influenced, and they like I think you guys have that knowledge of like farm magic that's kind of
Like
like
a
rolling off of
like a
them.
long-term charm of
Yeah,
some sort.
Like they've been shaped by something so
Well,
permanently charmed.
given the time constraints that we have, I don't think we have the time to quote unquote
No,
save them.
we may
but-
not.
They can more be used against us than we can use them against.
We'd be better off removing them one way or another. Whether-
Either incapacitating them.
Yeah.
Sometimes mercy is the only savior. Say as I've read that in the book.
Hell yes, I do.
Nibbles will pipe up with the plates gone. It gives us infinitely more time to save those members of the council.
But as long as the plates exist in their current form, the Whispered Litany has the opportunity to put them back in place.
Yeah,
It might be easier to get the council than it is to get the plates.
Since we were just there.
Two things
Yeah.
they need to do the thing.
yes, but the plates seem to be the more time sensitive of the two. And I am a powerful sorcerer.
If the Whispered Litany is more concerned with protecting the law of the embassy, and we need access to the Hydroforge, it makes sense to stage some kind of fight or front on the embassy, create an opening for our team to get in at the forge and do what we need to do. A feint, if you will, to try to draw away any forces that might be at the Hydroforge to go protect the law, since that's what they seem to care about so much.
But how do we set up such a feint?
Well, y'all are already pretty wanted, so I think showing your face or a couple faces around there, putting up a little bit of a fight, and then voguing out would probably do the trick.
The
Does
one and
Nita-
only Stanwyck Chinoli will stand up from the corner of darkness. Are you saying that we might need to put on a show?
Maybe after we hose you down.
Petunia stands up for her corner of tears. And oh,
Yeah, a show might just do the trick.
Well,
I don't know if I'd have enough time to kind of show you the ropes, but
Motherfucker, I will end you. We're gonna have a wonderful battle of instrumentation later, my friend. But for now, well, it seems like multiple of you are going into the forge, and Petunia's gonna be needed here. Bibbles, we might need to go put on a show. And we might have to dress up some of those children in the streets.
oh my gosh.
The best plan ever.
Let's take the children. All right, Clint, let's go.
If the Imperium can do it, so
Yes,
can
like
we.
no children will be harmed in this. We are not
Where
the
he's
Imperium.
going. We have a bunch of Stanwyck cannolis in there.
Yeah. Bibbles says, I think we could have the children help set up, bring some equipment out. I would rather not put them in harm's way, especially if we're also going to be potentially, did we say annihilating the Council of Innovation? It might prove just the point that the Imperium's trying to make about us.
I don't know who said that, but we're definitely meaning it.
We're gonna stage more of a distraction. Annihilation might, we may keep that in our back pocket.
No killing members of the Innovation Council. We already scooped out one of their eyeballs. They are important to it.
You're not the one. You're not the one who had. You're not the one whose name has been.
Nibbles and Stanwyck are both the name. Yeah,
That's true.
Nibbles was the only one outside of your little assault squad that was named.
And Bun Bun will help.
Oh, yeah, we got Bun Bun.
It's true.
Well,
Bun
shit,
Bun
then we
can
don't
go.
all need to go then. I mean, if we got Bun Bun.
Just send Bun Bun. We'll disguise Bun Bun as Stanwyck Cannoli, and the rest of us will go into the caves.
Why don't we go take a shot at that Hank character? Get them scrambling to cover him. We can make our way to the hydrophone.
Is that the cute one?
Hank?
I made no such evaluations, see?
He's hideous. Low life.
A suddenly insecure sandwich.
Jelly already.
This sounds like an excellent plan we have.
So,
Looking up the dimensions of the
I
possible.
really
act like we're going. We're acting like we're going
Get into the
after
plan.
the law or whatever.
So we're going up to the law to get Hank,
And then,
but really we're going for the hydroforge.
Or do we
So-
just actually go after the law and then go after.
yeah,
That's true.
if the opportunity presents itself, we might as well go after the law.
Mhm.
Yes, but I'm telling you, it didn't take them very long to activate 2 plates, and I don't imagine it's going to take them much longer to finish what they're doing.
And
I
we
think-
killed all their priests. He said they have to at least train new priests. So, I think
But we don't know who they already have in power who could step in.
Oh, that's true.
We only
Uh,
murdered a few priests.
Nita's
We got all
inclined
the
to
priests.
go and work on the crystals right away, or maybe a combo of reviving our friend the
So yeah,
crystals.
let's do the diversion, and maybe some of us can set up near the hydroforge to get in. I don't know. I'm hesitant to split the party.
Yeah, I think we should stay together. We could just we could do the diversion, and if it's looking good, we can just keep killing them. But then we could have like a safe forge. It's just like if it's looking bad, we're just
Umbrella,
like go to the
umbrella.
hydroforge.
Stanwyck is willing to take some members of, if we can
Junior's
find
willing.
people.
Help Stanwood.
Okay.
I
Yeah,
know.
we can.
I mean,
That's pretty hygienesy. I love it.
it was pretty hygienic.
Yeah.
We can dress up a few of them
I
as
mean,
nibbles, and we can.
At this point, we're working on building a whole underground, not just one party.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's risky. Some people might die.
Viva la resistance.
So it's a party split, but it's not really a party split.
I mean, I think we have a surplus party right now.
Yeah.
We're gonna
We have a
feign
growing
split
underground.
party.
Yeah.
Mark, you're not here right now.
Oh, yeah.
Mark and I were playing 2 characters each.
Oh, nice. Yeah. Yeah, just tell me, who else do you guys recruit? Have fun.
And Ellipsy flies down.
Petunia and all the urchins. I mean, she could recall some urchin help, probably.
Lomero's back as a mushroom. It's her to knock on the door one night. Just standing there. Come on.
And Block finally makes his way over the top of the Dragonfire Mountains and shows up in Ur-Durra.
I'm gonna level up Hot Boy Candle right quick.
I wouldn't trust that
All the way
assassin.
from the Thousandfold Braid.
Valford Brasswood makes his way back from space.
A true Avengers Assemble moment. As everybody teleports to
News
Ur-Durra.
has been in the shadows.
On your left.
Zerus and zap through, you know.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, Zap and
Oh, I can just play the other Xerox.
Oh my
That's so
God.
beautiful.
Yeah.
Vitaria sends, the Xerox
Yeah.
on through. It's like you're needed elsewhere.
I mean, for that, Arya might be able to come out.
Vitaria comes through and like 6 Get Yankee like behind her, like my ship portal. That's like so much fan service is done.
For our Patreon viewers, is that enough?
With a $5 super chat, you can add someone to portal through into Ur-Durra. Who did we forget?
Name your favorite player character you didn't hear tonight.
Slap and chop, slap and chop.
Crob Nobbler just happened to be opening up a orphanage in town.
You're like, where are all my children going? Oh, they all work for the Urchin Network that's up in town. I'll follow them into battle.
The Urchin Network. They're their own enemy on their own.
Yeah, they're just like a swarm, like a rat swarm, stat block. Urchin swarm, stat block.
Credit. I was gonna say Petunia knows which urchins can be trusted and have skills that would be beneficial.
There's so many, there's many of them. They just become a single organism.
Yeah. Last game's recording had so much talk about flesh amalgamations, and we've arrived there again. So
Yeah.
it's great.
There we go.
All conversations end up talking about flesh amalgamations. A lot.
Is that like a literary rule?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So sounded like you guys were fine-tuning a carefully crafted plan to strike in both locations at once, creating a diversion to cover for your hydro forge assault. Sounds like your focus is going to be on the panels and upsetting that process.
Are we going to try and get them out? Or are we going to try and do what we're doing down there?
If we can, they'll probably get them out. But I think if we need to do it, I think that's a good idea. Just bringing it back to a more secure. If we can remove them from the location, that immediately stops the process. So
A lot of hits. so
Yeah.
Maybe we should learn what we're doing before we go in there.
Yeah,
In
yeah.
case it's like a backup.
Yeah.
for sure.
And
It is
do
going to
we
take.
want to try to get Gerp?
If he's laying on the floor.
Yeah.
If we can easily find Gerp, it takes an hour to revive him at this point.
Just
We-
throw him.
We know where he should be if they just left him where we saw it
Yeah.
on the recording.
They had some other corpses to deal with as well. They might have, done something. They had some of the other prisoners going into re-education that were killed by the fireball.
They've lost it. 10 prisoners there. Something like that.
Megan, the last thing that you kind of think about with that very high religion check roll earlier about the magic of the uh, slab being developed. The thing that Crackback asked about, like basically like reversing or inversing the language and the law written on this to give power to Ur-Durra over the the vessel and the servants of the five divines or the Gwendol Imperium. You think that if you were to achieve that, that would be a victory on multiple fronts, because you think that you have the sudden inspiration that whatever is affecting the Council of Innovation is some sort of charming domination by the vessel, by the Imperium. And that if this were rewritten the way that Crackback just talked about, that might reverse that relationship and restore or like give some power to the Council of Innovation.
Well, I know a thing or two about domination. Well, I can head back to the shop and pick up the cubic zirconium worth 500 gold.
I could also cast divination to see if reviving Gerb, if we can locate him. Use divination to find his location and to help us revive him more quickly. I mean, to get to his body quickly. The reviving him will still take time. But if we are worried about using his aid.
Yeah.
So we could go down there and I could plan to revive him while everyone's working on trying to figure out the slabs. And if we can bring him back, then he can hopefully help us resolve that more quickly.
I'm done with this plan.
Yes, he'll return shortly. And he'll head out and maybe keep an ear out on the streets and see if he hears anything on his way back to grab the gem and come back.
So I think Nita will cast divination as a ritual, asking like as he goes, as Aloysius goes to get the materials for the other.
Sure.
That means she can ask a single question. And
what's your component use look like as you begin this ritual?
Yeah, I pull out a handful of like gems and small trinkets and sort of scatter them on the floor, and then they like just alight in this like strange like orange and red and purple flame, but it looks a little bit like a sunrise. And I ask Lathander to help locate or to help guide us to the location of Group's body, if it will help us to better thwart the Bellstone issue.
Yeah. Aloysius leaves, and it's Nita that's performing this ritual. Nita sits in this incantations here, Nita reciting these words with divine power and magical influence. And Crackback, you feel a tug on your shield as the book unbinds it, like the straps holding it to your shield unbind themselves, the book levitates off the shield and opens itself, and you see this like divine surge of like radiant light come from this book, and as it like flips through, just like pages just like swirl past your sight, Nita.
You know what's a little side slip of I knew I liked you.
Crackback will probably just be like, bowing. Or the book floating in the air.
You see what looks like this radiant energy that floods your vision, begins giving you this vision of the Hydroforge itself. Like this light looks so familiar, like it looks so akin to the light of Lathander's Dawn, but it is not quite the same, as if it's being carried through the letter delivered through another means, like through a messenger, through a friend, and you feel like that there is a friendly allied deity in this aspect of through this book is delivering you this message from Lathander. And you see in those the radiant flames of the book as they the pages just run past. You see the Hydroforge, and you see that it looks like the the remnants of Balor Nickel Plenty's his troopers and stuff have put to use a common tactic and made a corpse hole, and have just thrown the bodies of the prisoners and Gerp and Lumello into a hole that's just nearby, and it's well, that's out of the way for now, we'll deal with that later. And you see just some bodies just spilled on top of each other and Gerp in the middle of that pile. And you have some insight into where this is, and not in a pretty close proximity to the Hydroforge itself.
Okay.
Every one of those guys that touch Glomero's corpse as a mushroom. They breathed in so many spores.
Nita will take note of where that is, but she will also send just a sense of acknowledgement and thanks to this messenger, whoever this intermediary is. She's just wants to thank them and acknowledge their assistance.
Yeah, the pages swirl past, and you see just this radiant flame of the dawn sun, and those flames as the book is about to close, just they become much more not mundane, but primal, flames of light and flames of primal fire as the book snaps shut. Mm-hmm. And from your roles previously, you think that a Monitor delivered this message from Lathander through this artifact.
A Monitor?
Yeah. You talked about them last time. Yeah. Monitor, this god of fire and primal fire, and in some aspects, the creative and living aspects of fire, as well as it as a creative force, or a force that runs at the advent, or paving the way for new life and creation and stuff. These different meanings and things along those lines.
Yeah, I think I know where Griff is. We can try to revive him. And it will take time, like I mentioned, but if we go and we work on the Bellstone and try to get Griff back, then maybe he can help us. Yep.
And it seems like we
You
might
saw where his body was, right?
I saw where his body is. It's not far from the center
And
of the
you've been in
forge.
there, so you know it's pretty close.
I haven't been in there, but Lathander showed me.
Oh, okay.
Nita. Yeah,
Right.
as Nita. Yeah.
Sorry, Mrs. Doubtfire.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that sounds good to me. Yeah, even if we just grab his body and go like we're gonna do with the plates, we can res him wherever we want. But
Yeah,
we
we can
res
get
him
his
there.
body out and then try to. If we get his body out, we can bring him to the Bellstone, and maybe that'll provide helpful context when he does come back.
We're gonna
Probably
go for
better
him.
than being revived in a hole of corpses. As
Well.
Nita says, as nobody else knows that he's in a hole of corpses.
That's where
Look
we
at this
left.
pit. It looked like a hole for corpses.
Yeah, that's where we left the guy.
People would do such a
Yeah.
thing.
It's awful.
Jungle Book know where the embassy is.
Yeah, I think that certainly you as a group and you with some like you guys would learned, I think you learned like where the embassy was, I think, previous session. So yeah, you guys know as a group, you know where it is. There was something that was communicated to you guys about the embassy. That there was like, as a part of like the stuff going on with the Hydro Forge, the city, the Council of Innovation, gave the 510 voice this had already given the 510 voice this embassy, but had given them like basically expanded the embassy to the Hydro Forge itself to allow like the Imperium workers and like priests and stuff to do what they needed to do, and that had some significance. Like you've heard something about that from the. I can't remember where at this point where you heard that from, or if I'm giving you information you didn't learn already. Yeah, so like the 510 voice has a embassy here, which is basically like most embassies are, like is national territory of the nation they represent, which is the Gwendol Imperium. And then as a part of that work that was being done on the Hydro Forge, the Council of Innovation expanded that the borders of the embassy to include the Hydro Forge.
So any violence done there would be an act of war technically. That would give the Imperium an excuse to be violent back.
You like think certainly like the Imperium is already like obviously like this is already obviously an extreme like act of provocation by the Imperium. They could certainly like frame it that way if they chose to, if they needed to do that and use that as provocation. But I think with those,
that's the easy way first. So
with those
can't they just
rules,
roll over these guys anyway?
yeah, like with those the roles you made earlier of the religious, like primarily the religious check roles about the flakes and what they were doing there and what their intent is. A lot of this does seem to be establishing like legal authority over Ur-Durra, and doing that like first, now you're like putting these pieces together, like first kind of secretively through like the embassy, and then just like expanding that, like technically now it extends to the space, and then once it extended that space, they were then able to like perform more rituals with more power to expand that to like the whole city and stuff, through the like the power of like whatever was like going off the Bellstone and whatnot. So like there's this like this incremental creep of them like finding ways to expand the influence of the Imperium in Ur-Durra. And that certainly had something to do with like the establishment of the embassy and stuff.
So, sorry, with the establishment of, so you said they kind of cleared a way between the Imperium, the borders of the embassy now extend to the Hydro Forge. Mm-hmm. So they've kind of made ways. So would there be paths of like easier access between those 2 points?
Yeah, you remember, or at least Stanwyck and a couple other people were there when they followed the 5-ton voice and crew into that chamber and heard the sound of people chained. That had like a direct access down to the Hydro Forge and up where you knew the embassy was. There was like a direct shot between the two.
Okay, so it could be. So we would know that it might be if we need to get from the embassy to the Hydro Forge, we can do that really quickly.
Yeah.
Or vice versa.
Yeah.
And that the chilling side of that is, of course, your enemies can also make great use of that.
Right. Our enemies are desperate.
And as that ritual is going on, and you guys are all astonished by, and Crackback is pretending not to be astonished by the workings of his book. Aloysius is making the journey to the moving, perfectly legitimate goods shop. And yeah, you head out and begin your journey. Aloysius, the streets are and winding paths of Ur-Durra are desolate, at least on, I believe we're on the Chrysanthemum hub or pillar. You can still hear what sounds like a lot of hubbub coming from the central hub, the main spire that houses the hydro forge, and you can hear echoing across the water the driving metal music of fucking what's her name? Curla Blackthorn is still like playing up on the main hub. And it's just echoing across the great like waterscape that Ur-Durra is, the city, the columns of Ur-Durra are perched above. You're carefully making your way around the city. What's Aloysius like when he's trying to inconspicuously traverse the city in a time of danger?
I mean, he's not too afraid since he's not a wanted man, but he is, he's got his jet black suit on. He's pretty intimidating looking, even though he's quite an elderly gentleman.
Mhm.
But yeah, he's very casual about it. He knows this city. These people, for the most part, know him.
Yeah.
He's definitely checking people out on the way, though. Maybe a couple cat calls.
Um, you give me a perception check as you roam the streets.
22.
You keep hearing what sounds like a voice around the corner, different voice each time, perhaps just ahead or just behind you, and when you look, there's no one there. And then it starts to cohere, and you hear not a voice, but what sounds like voices of children, maybe a dozen of them, and they all are saying, "May the five divines make sharp the eyes of our allies and all those who oppose your vessel." And you hear other such prayers calling for the blessings of the five divines. And then, like, you hear there's one moment where a whisper such as that seems to like align with the appearance of some local Ur-Durrans who are just walking around normally, and suddenly they look at you with a more suspicious gaze than you normally elicit.
Does he recognize the children as like urchins?
These are not urchins. These are children reciting a Sunday school prayer.
Okay.
Why don't you have Aloysius give me? How do you think Aloysius would deal with this sudden observation he finds himself under? This suspicion.
Uh, he's been around for a long time. He's just gonna kind of go with the flow. If they start to get a little rough with them, he knows how to escape. He's gonna try and just like continue past them, like smile and nod.
Yeah. As you prepare to react to them, one of them pauses and says, "You there? You haven't been spending any time with that Nibbles character, have you? I've heard he's back in town. You don't know him, do you?" And then another one said, like, it pipes up, like, "Yeah, you look like somebody who would know him. You look like a friend of his." and like suddenly there's like this like very undue suspicion that's falling upon you, and like you hear that chorus, and you hear another like this bubbling of whispering in this around you, closing in.
He looks like somebody who would know him. Arrest him!
Arrest him.
Oh, children these days. When I was young, we didn't go around accusing people of being friends with people or talking about people.
Accusing people of being friends of other people.
These millennial Ur-Durra. They don't know what it's like to have grown up when Ur-Durra was a rough and tumble town.
Yeah, you put on this offended, like, you know, like I'm a true Ur-Durran heir, and like make them into the outsiders, the like those that aren't true Ur-Durrans, and suddenly they're like a little bit on the back foot. Why don't you give me, what do you think? Oh wow,
Deception?
an intimidation check, I think.
Deception? Because I'm lying? Because I
I
definitely do know
mean,
nibbles.
yeah, I think what you're trying to do here though is like put them is like an aggressive, like put them into a defensive posture, sort of social
Right,
encounter.
10 for intimidation.
And let me give them a little insight check here. They look at you and they're like, well, you know, it can't be too careful, can we? And they like let you pass as you like continue trying to just like stroll through with an air of authority, and you know that they begin, like you can tell they begin to follow you. Like they wait till you go around a corner, and you can hear like suddenly like the noise and conversation they were like, you know, putting on stops, and they're like, you can hear some like quick footsteps, and they're obviously going into some sort of pursuit and like tailing of you as somebody suspicious.
Yeah, he's gonna. I mean, he knows the town pretty well. He's gonna duck into a couple corners, find a quick alleyway, and then begin to stealth.
Yeah.
He'll put the full suit on, covering his face.
We can say also that Petunia, you've been delivered with those communication devices. So if you would like, you could have given one.
I would have
to-
probably given him
yeah.
one to be able to communicate. If he has
Yeah.
any questions on where to go, give him some directions.
Yeah. So if you'd like advantage on your next roll, you can check in with Petunia, your you know, secret navigator.
Yeah, I'm gonna like pass on the much. These fucking children. They seem to know about something. They're on to us.
Get around them.
I'll lose them. Don't worry.
Use the grate on the corner by the hat shop.
Oh, everyone knows about the grate at the hat shop.
But do you know the one on the back side of the hat shop down the alley?
Yes, of course. I'm going to use the brick up to the step where the cat usually lies, and then I'll go through the tube like a professional.
Excellent.
Yeah, you are able to quickly leave them in your wake now when you get back to your shop. And you arrive a little bit out of breath from the rush, and with the cold realization that you've heard a little bit about this whispered litany and the prayers and like expansion of the Imperium's, you know, realms into Ur-Durra, and you feel very much like you were in enemy territory now, with eyes and ears everywhere.
Any sign of urgent network nearby to save him?
It gets to his shop, and you're able to. You were here to gather something. I think it was.
Yeah, the cubic zirconium worth 500 gold.
Yes, yeah. You you get your definitely genuine diamond worth
I
500
thought we all
gold.
went to. I thought we were already in Lucius's shop. I thought we decided to go there.
No, I thought you guys were still in Nibbles' old
Nibbles'
workshop.
old? Okay,
Yeah.
we were at Nibbles. Okay. Okay.
But you gather the zirconium,
Mm.
which is just enormous. It's like like it really genuinely does have a value of 500 gold because like you understand that like spell components work that way. So it's like this cubic zirconium that's like just immense. Like if it were an actual diamond, it would be worth like 50,000 gold pieces. To grab this enormous rock and start need to trek back to the hidey hole.
Although this time he will be stealthing the entire way
Yeah.
after running in with the children of the corn.
You keep on the journey back, you keep hearing this at the edges of your perception. It's just whispering voices, choruses, the sound of children reciting prayers by rote.
And then every once in a while from your pocket, you hear Petunia with some direction.
Some advice on direction.
She has no idea where you are, so she's just spouting off random things.
Listen, I was a street urchin a long time ago. I know the city much better than you do. I appreciate your help. It's most generous.
Turn left. You hear Petunia spout off like, did you know about the new tunnel? It connects the chrysanthemum to the rose petal.
Okay, I didn't know about the new tunnel.
So, any other business before you guys? It sounds like there's maybe talk about taking a rest before the adventure progresses any further. Some of you are certainly a little bit worn and torn from recent expeditions, but others of you are fresh as newborn babes to the world.
Mhm.
That's actually rock and roll.
I would definitely want to take a rest since I have spell slots. But yeah.
Do you need a short rest or a long night's sleep?
Well, actually, to get those back, I would have to take a long rest. So I don't know if the party's up for that. So
Yeah, right now it's still like just a little bit after 2 a.m. When the one and only Stanley Chinoli's show was due to begin. So you can sleep through the remainder of the night, or wake in the morning and be ready to go, or just keep at it. But that's where the clock is set right now.
I was under the impression we're still trying to interrupt something. So
I think that was the plan.
so I'd probably just go with it.
You guys know that from what you've seen, like the priests that were working the ritual on those panels were all killed by your group. One of the victories achieved in that encounter. But you know also that the Whispered Litany was able to leave. You know that in fact, like you were here investigating because like you knew that like Curla Blackthorn and the Athletic Apocalypse were here recently, but had moved on to other places. They're not in Ur-Durra. You were here like figuring out like trying to get more of just like information about like what they were actually up to, what are they doing. To see Curly here again, it's just like I thought you were in Valkyrie. Like I had intelligence very recently that you were not here. So like the Whispered Litany leaving and then Curla and what now seems like the Whispered Litany returning seems like she went and retrieved her. And so yeah, we have that bit of information as well.
Whatever we're gonna do, we gotta match the urgency of our enemies. I had very good intelligence that Carla was in Valkyrie, and to see her back here, she's a very important asset to the Imperium. And between her presence here and the Whispered Litany's presence, it's important that we match their sense of urgency.
Yeah. So let's just go for it.
Yeah.
Before we take off, I owe Johan a message, so I'm gonna send one out using that storm cipher and just give him an update about Carla Misbegotten's presence here in Ur-Durra. Just a brief, super short check-in. Says Kurla in Ur-Durra whispered litany trying to manifest subjugation over the city. We'll need your help to liberate.
Yeah. You decipher and you like communicate that out, and you wait like for a moment, like a pause, waiting for like that like feeling of like connection, and then like the response. Like there's a like this like static for a second, and you hear and no, a recently made familiar voice, a 5-tone voice, come back to you and say, "Sorry, didn't quite understand all of that, and I'm sure it'll be very interesting to dissect." We have to be very careful what communications leave the borders of our great imperium right now in this heightened time of trouble. I'm sure you understand.
Enjoy figuring out that message. If you have any problems figuring it out, I'd be more than happy to help you. Just choose a place and a time.
Here it is. I can't see exactly where you are in the city right now. Why don't you come out into the open? And I'm sure we can make acquaintance, and we can provide any help you're capable of.
I'll be easy enough to find shortly. Don't you worry about that.
We'll be waiting.
Are you talking to somebody?
Oh, yes. Just trying to get in touch with a comrade, but it looks like messages out are getting intercepted by those fuckers. Whatever we're gonna do, we need to move quickly.
That's our cue then.
We should wait for Aloysius to get back, I think.
You hear the little like bell above the door ring. You still haven't locked the door.
Motherfuckers, lock the door!
I have the gem, and he reaches into his backpack and pulls out the giant gem and hands it over to Nita.
She's like,
And for
What's
you,
that
the one and
for?
only Stadwick Chinoli, I have brought you this. I call it a saxophone. And he pulls out like an electronic saxophone and hands it over. I think this may give you the edge you may need to defeat your enemy.
I've seen this instrument before, and I quickly wet the reed and play some sensual tunes.
Aloysius is like rubbing a nipple.
Stanley,
Working on the new stuff.
I was a little upset at first that I was gonna miss your show, but I think I've seen all I need to see.
Oh, you just wait, darling. Nibbles will pop up. We're gonna have to go soon. So distraction and main entrance. Oh, not main entrance. Tunnel crew. Sound like a plan, everybody?
Wait, what? We've got a distraction crew and a tunnel crew?
Well,
On the distraction crew and then the rest on the phone crew.
Mhm.
I would like to take everybody. Just let Bibbles and oh god, the one and only Stanwick Chinoli take care of setting distractions.
That's what we were thinking.
Yes.
Maybe a Stanwick and Petunia or
Petunia's our person in the chair. We need her to stay.
okay.
Petunia can help.
Bombus says, Petunia, I think you staying back and helping everybody navigate around Ur-Durra would be ideal for your skill set. Let me and Bibbles and Stanwick take care of the distraction. I think among the things that we took from the halls of innovation or halls of inspiration rather were some rather inspiring devices for mining excavations. Very explosive.
That could be useful.
We have them here. I'll take them. We'll blow something up near the embassy. Sounds like it's a good start to me.
Petunia's like equal parts excited and horrified. Like as her nightmare continues to get more complicated with death and destruction.
Bill says, pipes up. I think Curl has got everybody so so excited and gathered together that there shouldn't be hardly anybody, if anybody at all, by the embassy. Should be a victimless explosion.
Petunia's like trying to do the math on how likely that is, and she's just like, okay, I'll stay here then.
Oh, and look out for the chanting children. They seem to be up to no good.
What?
Chanting children?
The children appear to be chanting something, and I was
Is that another new
accosted by
band?
them.
Can't trust children.
No, these actually seem worse than the usual types.
Bomba says, well, if there's roaming groups of chanting children, I'm sure we can avoid them.
Yes, they won't be difficult to hear.
Right. We'll keep an ear out and an eye out, and we'll just walk around the chanting children. Understood.
You stay safe now, everybody.
You too, Stanwick. Actually, let me help you out, brother. And I'm gonna cast Pass Without Trace on Stanwick to help him out with any stealth rolls.
Wow.
And Bibbles.
Yeah, he's on his own. I gotta keep some gas in the tank.
Isn't it like 30 feet around whoever you cast it on?
Yeah. So yeah, it would affect
Party.
Stanwick and the whole distraction party,
Yeah.
I think.
Mhm.
Um, yeah. All right, so yeah, Bombus crawls into the hydro tube that he had used to hide all of the stolen inspiration innovations, and hauls out what it's just a bomb. It's just like a bunch of explosives packed into a barrel. It's like has a little bit of like directional stuff, like it's like kind of fortified in some sides of it, so it's like has some like more technical use than just a mere explosion device. But it's like Bob was like, it's not the most innovative thing, but it seemed useful, so we grabbed this one as well.
I'll put bomb in the name anyway. It's like Novish dynamite drill.
Yeah.
It's directional dynamite.
Yeah. And he grabs that and like is gonna be basically using all of his strength to pack that along with the distraction crew. But it sounds like it's going to be Bombus, Bibbles, and Stanwick Chinoli on the distraction crew to go make a fuss and blow up a bomb. Is there anything else you'd like to add to that playing with modifiers there?
Would Maisie go with them, or would she? She's probably gonna stay back and go with the primary.
Maisie always has the chance to just appear next week, so we'll just say maybe
Yeah.
the wild card right
Just
now.
wanna see what
Yeah.
Maisie decides to do.
I think Bibbles should dress up as Nibbles to make it seem like Nibbles is around
Nibbles.
to give them a little bit more
Especially
legitimacy.
Bibbles. Why don't you just dress up like somebody
Bibbles would do
that's
anything.
not wanted?
Yeah, like
Because
I
the
think
point is
I
to
think Nibbles is
distract.
the one who no, it's not even Nibbles that like presents this idea. It's absolutely Bibbles that suggests it. And it's like, cousin, I could dress up like you and then they'd certainly come after us. Once I make my appearance, I'll say that I'm here and I'm here to destroy Ur-Durra and kill everyone who lives in the city, and then they'll certainly come after us.
Whoa. Let's not put a bad name on a name that is already questionable.
I'm here to save the city and kill all the Imperiums that are in it. The Gimps. Yeah, the Gimps.
Sounds like this was his plan no matter what was going to go on.
What if? I mean, what I feel like a threat to the Imperium is enough. Petunia says. And
Say that I'm Nibbles and I'm here to save Ur-Durra? Just leave it at that?
My name's Nibble. I'm here to say.
what if you appear as not Nibbles?
Ur-Durra?
Not one of the known. Disguise yourself, but not as one of the known problems. And then, what if we hang like a banner that speaks for a cause against the Imperium, down with the Imperium, something like that.
And then blow up the embassy.
Yeah. Yes. Maybe.
The one and only Stanwyck Shanoli is game for the Nibbles plan.
The Ur-Durra Liberation Front.
Yeah.
Popular liberation of Ur-Durra. They hate each other. Yeah. So far, it does sound like Bibbles is going to dress up. Maybe as Nibbles. Nibbles seems to be on board with that, and Bibbles is going to be like, "Great, cousin's on board. I'm doing it." So Bibbles will dress up as Nibbles, help make a scene. It's unclear to Bibbles right now if that's going to be like near the bomb site or away from it. If it's going to be like we blow things up and then we make a scene on top of that, or if we like draw people like away. So he's like still kind of wondering like, I don't know, like so the embassy. So we know where that is. That sounds like it's a ways above where most of the excitement's happening this evening. If we're going to go now, then most people will still be with Kurla's show if we make it quickly there.
Can
So
we blow up that show while we're on our way? I mean, sorry, don't get distracted.
Bibbles is horrified and just like, I must not have heard you, cousin.
No, that was Stanwyck, the one and only.
Gotcha.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Still a little salty about the Battle of the Bands.
Yeah. So Bibbles is just like, so we're gonna explode Bombus's bomb at the embassy, and that'll cause quite a commotion. And I'll say that I'm Nibbles, and I'll say that I'm Nibbles, and I'm all of you as well, and I'm attacking the embassy.
I think if you're gonna say your Nibbles, you need to have another disguise ready to change into when they start chasing you, so you can survive. Survival is important, Bibbles. No.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, absolutely.
Petunia's like about to go catatonic. She's like, no, this is not the plan.
Visions of like that gnome that dirt just rolled out into the void.
Petunia's like, no, we've already done too much harm. We can blow up an empty embassy, but no, like you gotta survive. How about escape plan, please?
Nibbles looks at Nibbles and says, Ur-Durra has to survive.
Nibbles nods in agreement.
No.
Yes,
No.
yes, cousin.
And so does Bibbles.
This is the moment Bibbles was radicalized.
I don't know
Goes
what
into the
douse
other
is,
room,
but
it's-
that sounds
It's
that sounds like the plan.
It's been doused dozens of times.
Yeah.
It'll be fine.
Absolutely.
It
Yeah.
used to fall off the city all the time.
Fall off the okay, yeah.
As long
Certainly.
as there's as long as you can get picked up.
Never not worked before.
The chin is just like have a disguise ready to
Okay. Yeah.
when you're picked up.
Yeah. All of this, guys. It'll be
Average citizen, not somebody who's wanted.
Yes. Wet mill. What's a good persona for a wet mill? And starts like going off, talking to himself, thinking about who he's going to be recalling coming up out of the doubt thing.
You know, I have some costumes at my shop you may enjoy.
Please tell me they're made of leather.
Oh, most of them are. Some of them are silk.
He is oblivious.
Fancy.
That sounds uncomfortable when you're wet.
Certain outfits need durability of leather.
Oh, they're reinforced with chains.
And there's always baby powder.
Fantastic. All right. So yeah, it sounds like we're gonna send some a couple NPCs and a disused player character as a distraction to pave the way to hopefully buy you guys some time.
Chaps in with them.
Buy you guys some time with an audio approach.
I mean, if it's distraction we're looking for. Maybe not the one we asked for. It is the one we're getting.
And I can't wait to see the fan art from this this little adventure.
Let me generate that one real quick. Oh, please, please.
Not a very good distraction with the ball gag in. You're not getting enough attention.
Like AI generate for me.
Whip him.
Like AI generate for me. Gnomish Islamic Jihad.
Yes.
In dominatrix here.
Yeah. Perfect. And that's kind of what we.
Mhm.
Vader Minecraft group. Bother Mikey.
Yeah, so we're just 14 away from 9 o'clock, it looks like. So I think we'll end our session with the party disembarking from Nibbles' secret shop. And you will head out to your destinations. A few of you NPCs and Sandwich Nolan going to create a diversion at the embassy where you expect Hank to be protecting the law, whatever that quite means. While you guys go to the Hydro Forge and try and undo whatever are the religious legal using of these Glengold and slabs onto the very part of Ur-Durra, and the kind of making permanent this certainly de facto right now alliance between the Imperium and Ur-Durra, and the extension of the power of the five divines into the city.
For now.
For that. Well, yeah, the last one ended with a mixed victory So we'll see how this one goes.
No
A mixed
prisoner.
victory is what you call almost a TPK.
No prisoner gambits this time.
Mixed victory because the bar was set very low. It was get out with the recording device.
Yeah. That was our victory.
With that.
The one victory.
I mean, the one and only Stanley only survived. So I think that's a
so
victory.
Victory.
Yeah, that makes it a really glorious victory.
We were 3 friends, I think. 3, maybe more.
Well,
Mark.
two people. One that was a
He's gone. He left.
Oh, fine. That was lovely. Good
It was
days,
fun.
everybody. Have a good night.
GG's
Have a
all.
good night. Goodbye.